All right. Let me fix the webcam. We're in total darkness today. Brutal. One quick second. We should just show up. Cool. All right. Save that. Okay, cool. How's it going, everybody? Hey, George. How's it going? So we're gonna be streaming for a while today. We got 4 pages to color still, and I'm trying to think. Other than that, probably there's like I've said earlier in the week when we've been doing streams. It's looking like March is when we're going to finally start posting online with this stuff. So I need to get like the website made and all that stuff. I don't know how much of that I'm going to show with you guys because it's probably pretty boring. But I got to do. Maybe we'll work on a logo a little bit later today. There's a whole bunch of like artwork for like fan pages and all that kind of crap. So we'll see how it's all going. But for now, we're just going to be working on coloring some pages. So hope you guys enjoy that. Hey Lars, how's it going? And also, I'm going to be streaming, like I say, for a while today. But usually in the morning here, I'm going to start hitting some different time zones. So we'll see some new people. Hopefully that'll be good. I know it's Friday, so there's still probably people at work. And if not, you guys get the recorded version you can watch later too. That's cool. All right, let me get my timer going here. Save this. Cool. All right. So we're working on just flats. We're flattening all the pages right now. Let me just kind of show you what's going on. There's one thing. I saw this and I forgot to change it. I got a tangent going here, so we're just going to delete this. It's a little weird. There we go. Okay. So this is just the attack scene where we're finally getting into some action. The bad guys here, the Doblins, they're coming in and they beat the hell out of Momo. So that's pretty fun. So right now, I think we got all the characters done. We're just going through and adding the background colors, like the rocks and all that stuff. And then we'll be moving on to the next page. Let's see what we got here. How's that look? Yeah, it's not bad. Hey Darren, how's it going? Hey Eliza, how are you? We can try going dark here. Yeah, let's try it out. Maybe we'll do these two rocks this color. He blends. Yeah, he blends too much. Okay, so we get this one and how's it going, taunting? Taunting pirate. Still love that name. This just helps push some stuff into the distance here. And you start working. Like everything's 3-tone for the most part that I'm doing with this project here. Like very little gradient stuff. Sometimes it works really well. Like when you have like big backgrounds like that. But for the most part, it's just like cell shaded stuff. I should start. Let's I don't know what page this is. Yeah, okay, cool. I need the background stuff. The background stuff. Not that layer. Layers ahoy, look at all that. Okay. Lars, how many pages are we talking about when you release them? So once I'm done this batch of 4, I'll be up to 16 pages in the can, which is awesome. Um, I'm most likely, so far I'm committed to releasing 2 pages a week. That should be doable. There's no reason for it not to be. So since that's the case, 2 pages a week. That means the pages that we currently have, that gives us 2 months worth of backlog, which is great. Now, when I first started, or not when I first started, but there was a part where I was talking a little bit about a friend of mine, and we went and we had coffee, and I was just telling him about the project and all that cool stuff. Really awesome guy. And he was suggesting, and I agree. When I go see a new webcomic, especially a webcomic, I don't know necessarily why, but I think it's just the story nature of comics, right? When you just see one page, it doesn't really have the same effect as when you go and there's a few pages for you to look at, right? So there's 2 things I'm still debating on doing. The first one, which is just doing regular. I'm just gonna do a page. I think in Monday, Friday, or Monday, Thursday will be the update schedule. I'm not sure just yet, but just do the pages, and they'll eventually snowball, and there'll be content later on down the road. However, I know there's going to be an influx, and that doesn't mean a whole bunch of people, but the first few people that latch onto the project, if there's only one page, it might seem like it's whatever, right? So the other option is just doing like 5 days worth of work. So like Monday to Friday, just a page day. That way we get a little bit of steam the first week, and then go into a regular update schedule. I'm not 100% sure on which one. The easiest one is just to do what everybody else does for the most part, which is, okay, it's ready, launch, and just do a page for your update schedules, right? And as much as, not that I don't necessarily like that, but it's just for those people that hang around after the fact, and they come in and they're like, cool, I like that first page, I wish there was more, and then you forget about it, or whatever. There's lots of little things that could happen there, so I'm not sure just yet. I'll think about it over the next couple of weeks. There's a lot of work still left to do. Like I was saying, I got to make a logo, get our fan page. Like, I've already got a fan page on Facebook. I've had it since whenever we talked about Jesop King back in the day, and it's still there, but we need to update it with new graphics and all that, and start making some more accounts. I've been thinking, like, what do you guys think? I know there's not too many people in here, but and some of you might not even use Instagram, which is fine. But for those of you that do use Instagram, do you guys follow like comic? I know you probably follow comic creators, but what do you guys think? Should, like, let's say Jesop King have his own, or the project's own graphic? What am I trying to say? So let's just say there's the Jesop King account on Instagram. You'd rather follow that to get page updates, or would you rather follow me and get page updates through my stuff? That's the other thing that's going back and forth in my head, because I don't want to, like, every time there's a page, just like post it on the Jesop King fan page plus mine plus my art one, right? Like, that's like, if you're following me on at least 2 of those, like, then you're gonna see like double updates, and that's no fun. So we'll see. We will see. We'll figure it out. I think it sounds like a solid plan to give us a few pages to begin with, and then tease with the rest. Yeah, and I'm the same way. See, and this is the thing. So the only people that this really affects is, okay, so let's say March 1st. Hey guys, come check it out. So whoever the first group of people are, they're going to go, and there's only a page there, right? Then on Friday, there's a second page. And then the next week there's a third page, right? And then also on that third week I start saying, hey guys, I have a new webcomic, go check it out. So that group of people, they go in, now they get those 3 pages, let's say, as their first experience. So the only people it negatively affects is the literal first adopters, like the people that go that day. They're the ones that get the short end of the stick. Which is, it's an interesting way to look at it, right? It's like, how much effort do you put into that first push? I think there is some definite, like, it makes sense to do so, just because, like, how many webcomics are there, right? There's a lot, and you're competing. Well, maybe not competing, but there's a lot out there, and the main thing, I guess, for competing, I'll say, is it's attention, right? There's so many other people doing awesome stuff out there. Why would they even care about what you're doing? It's a real question. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm not trying to give it too much thought just yet. But Lars, in my opinion, I would rather just follow your Instagram for behind the scene. I understand what you're saying with its own Instagram, but personally, I follow maybe 500 people. Okay. And that's the thing, like the behind the scenes stuff too. Really, it's all just Patreon. I'll post like a panel every now and then. Like once this page is colored today, I'm gonna post a picture of like this guy. I just love the way this guy turned out. So once we get the shadow on him and stuff, I'll post a picture of that. But that's like, and that in like the actual streams are about the limit that I'm doing my behind the scenes stuff for the most part, because I save it mostly just for Patreon, for the people hanging out over there. But anyway, just ideas. Drown out. Yeah, it could. It absolutely could. Yep. That's. It's not a fear. I'm not even worried about it. Like I'm just worried about making content. Coming out of the gate strong would be awesome, but I'm not like I've always said. My motto with anything art related is sort of like that legacy thought process. So if you don't know what I'm talking about with that, it's I'm not worried about what happens a year from now for this sort of stuff. I'm interested in like 10 years from now. I'm not saying that I'll be doing this project for 10 years, but at the same time, I mean, like, what does the art I'm doing today do for me like 10, 20, 30 years from now? So what's fun about that is you can sort of I don't know if it's lying to yourself, but you can manipulate your thought process a bit and stop worrying about like what's today looking like, what's like the best ways you can go back and like what's the pattern been looking like, what has the growth been over the like last 5 years or 10 years, and you can start to, or at least I do. I find that a lot more interesting, doing that stuff. But we'll see how we go. Like I said, this whole thing is about it's all a learning experience. This is the first webcomic I've ever done, so expecting failure going in is great. It's very liberating, I suppose you could say. Because if everything's supposed to be not a mistake, but if everything theoretically isn't in like the odds are stacked against you, right? And that's good. I like that. And the reason I like that is just because then the expectations are like they can feel a little bit more real. It's like, all right, just calm down, just make comics. That's all you got to do. And we'll see how it goes, right? We'll see how it goes. Okay. So let's color some more ground. Go here with this mid-tone. Hey Nikolai, how you doing? I think it's more exciting that way. Yeah, it is. Or it could be. I'll say that. The scary and exciting part all at the same time is I feel like I'm building up hype for no real reason, but is once the first page goes up and all that stuff, The only thing you gotta, I don't want to say worry about, but is just keep making pages and sort of put the hope into the people that they don't mind it. And the first few people that kind of tag along, that some of them might like, a good word for it is like they champion the comic, meaning they just love certain things about it and they want to share with other people. You know, that's about the best that I feel like I could hope for. And I've always said, again, that the first year I'm just going to worry about making pages and doing what you guys see right now. Nothing's going to change except you guys will be able to read it. That's the only thing, right? And after the year, I can look back and go, okay, what were some of the hiccups, all that stuff. Now that there's like, because after a year, if we're doing 2 pages a week, how many pages a year would that be? Let's see. Hey, how's it going, Ben? Let's see what we got. So 2 pages, we'll assume 4 weeks, right? So 8 pages a month times 12. So we'll have 96 pages. Who knows? Maybe we'll have some more. So we'll just say between 90 and 100. Providing there's no like dramatic thing where I lose a hand and I can't draw or something, right? So if that's the case, then that's almost like 100 pages around, right? And that's good. That's good. That's a good chunk of work. So new people in year 2, they can come by and they can start from page 1, and there's like a gigantic amount of content for them to consume, right? And see if it's even worth to keep going. Is it still fun? Is it all those things, right? And if it is, which I'm sure it's gonna be, because I'm having a blast just doing this stuff. Like the whole mindset, I suppose, of just being able to just relax, I guess, and just do what I want has been really fun. You know, like I don't have to appease to anybody or anything, and that's half of the excitement, just doing your own thing. So we'll see how it's going. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, Will, how's it going, man? And how are you, Big Sexy, as well? Boom, 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 boom. All right, we got lots of people working on comics today. Awesome. Hey Ben, wowie, a super early Friday stream. How rare? Okay? Just so you guys know, every second Friday, I don't have to go to work. We work like an extra hour and a half every day. So either we're done 1 week, we're done early on a Friday, and this following week we get off. So that means 2 weeks from now. And when I have a Friday off, my girlfriend's usually working too. So and like I usually don't have any big commitments. So I try to dedicate that to just like a full comic day. So if you guys are up for that, I'll usually be around so you guys can hang out. And I think actually there's a holiday coming up in Canada. It's like next, not this Monday, but the next Monday, Family Day. So we'll probably be streaming then too. Exciting. Okay. Especially after the newish update on Instagram, where the picture on one's feed is not shown in the order in which it's posted. Oh yeah, hey, that's a good question, or that's a good thing I should say. Yeah, didn't even think about that. But you know what? Like, you know what I find I'm doing now? Like, I don't even necessarily go through my feed because like there's a lot of people that follow back, and I follow them and certain things, but I usually just go to the search and like the popular people that I check out. It always says how many updates they have, and I just click them. That's at least how I'm doing. I don't know. It's everybody's different when they're using their social media stuff, right? So it's interesting. I actually didn't even like think of that at all. And that's a good point you're bringing up, man. Will, I'm good. I'm actually in the midst of hiring an artist for short comics I've written. Ooh, that sounds good, man. Have you come across anybody yet? I'm sure you've. It's the internet, right? Hey, of course we found people. Yeah, it's a good idea, man. It's like a nice, fun little, probably creative outlet for you, you know? So you can still see your own stuff moving forward while you're working on the big stuff. That's cool. I was in this one. Now I don't know if we're gonna go with the sky on this one. Probably not. We'll probably put like change this color to something like a red or something or something. That's good for you, man. I dig it. You know what's really cool about that too, Will, is like, when we've talked or whatever about it, like once you get back or not get back, but once you get able to spend some time on it, like it's gonna be huge because you theoretically, right, you'll already have like a body of work for it, and it'll already have like a base of fans or something. And once you get on there, it's sort of like it's you're just picking up, you know. It's kind of cool. I dig it. Hey, Curtis, how are you? This creature is okay. So I'm gonna blow your guys' mind with. Okay, I try to get a little bit more creative with names. That's one of the things I absolutely love about doing like concept art and stuff is coming up with names that usually get shot down and stuff. Um, but what I find funny is when I'm doing this stuff, I have to keep things moving quick. So I consciously decided to just like cheese the names in a lot of ways. Okay, so these characters here they're called Doblins, which is not even a creative play off goblins. But I needed and I wanted in the universe like okay, so Power Rangers has the Putty Patrol, Ninja Turtles has the Foot Clan. Who else? Superhero comics back in the day, they have like the Thugs or the Minions, you know. And I've always talked about Metroid, one of my favorite games. They've got basically space pirates. They're like just like the little itch that everybody wants to scratch in the universe, kind of thing, right? So I need those, and that's what these characters are. They're not in every story. But they're sort of like if you think of Star Wars and the Outer Rims and stuff like that. They're always like the guys most likely stirring up stuff or just like the rats of space kind of thing, right? So I needed something along those lines. I love fantasy. That's my number one thing that I like. But Jesop is more. It's more like Star Wars, I guess, in a way of like I look at Star Wars and I don't really necessarily think of it as like a science fiction. It is, but it's more fantasy. Whereas like Star Trek is, like very science. So since I'm going that way, a lot of these characters, like these designs for these guys, I think they would totally fit even if this was a fantasy book. But they got little laser pistols and stuff that they'll use, and they got spaceships and kind of stuff like that. But that's who these guys are. So right now they're beating up the main characters, and then we get to see them take them back to their evil lair. Let's see where the story goes from there. Hey Chaz, how you been, man? Any advice would you give to a beginner trying to draw comic pages for the first time? You're not gonna want to hear it. It's exactly what you think it is. You answered your own question, man. Just draw comic pages. If you don't feel like you're a good enough writer to write comic pages to draw, there's tons of free scripts you can get online. I wouldn't work for anybody for free. You can just write your own stuff. Don't worry about that. Build up your portfolio, just doing that, and just keep trying to get work if that's what you're into. If not, I'm not saying do a web comic, but you could do a web comic. Everybody starts somewhere. I would say if there was one thing, and I've said this multiple times going back, one thing I would have done more of instead of just drawing anatomy all the time was drawing comic pages, because a lot of time, not all the time, but a lot of time, depending on the genre that you're working in, it could be romance or something. Anatomy doesn't even matter. The concepts of form matter. If you can look at a muscular arm, let's say, and break it down into form, if you had to do a superhero book, then you could spend some time learning anatomy and stuff. But if you're going to do comics, storytelling is the single most important part of the whole process. And I know there's a lot of artists that might disagree with that, because there is some machoism and some ego that goes into art, because it's art, right? And we create it, we want people to see it. But if you're working on a team, you're just a cog in that machine, which is great. You're a crucial cog, but just know you're in a machine that all together you guys have to work together to make something. And your guys' synergy together make something awesome. And the only way you're going to do that as an artist, especially for comics, is you have to tell a story. You have to help the letterer. You have to read a script and convert it to images, right? You have to compose your pages in a way that the letterer can put things places. The colorist has to come in and pick the right color choices, and leave the color nice enough so that your artwork gets shown through it. Your art doesn't get drowned in color. So there's a lot of moving pieces, right? So to boil it down, I would say do your own comic, right? And you could just do black and white, whatever you want to do. If you like, if you want to be an artist like that just does penciling, so pencil a comic. Just pencil your own thing. Make a fun little thing. I think we talked about before, like Pencil Man. Stupid, right? Or if that's you want to do superheroes or something, right? You just theme it or whatever, and do it for yourself. You don't have to show it to people until like you feel a little bit more confident. But you got to get and you have to study comic books as well if that's what you want to do, right? Just focus on storytelling. And I always talk about the 80-20 rule. 80% of your time I would be devoting to just drawing comic pages, and the 20% is the studying of comic books. So when you are drawing Pencil Man fighting somebody and your perspective sucks, then in your study time, which could be before you go to bed or when you wake up or on the bus or at school or whatever, right? You can look at comic books and just study how they did shots, like how do their perspective lines work, and just figure that out. So when you come back at home, to start keep drawing on your comic, that stuff is going to start getting ingrained in your head, and you're going to remember that stuff, and you can start pulling it out and looking at certain things for reference in that. Okay, so that's what I would recommend. If there's people in the chat, if they wanted to chime in too, I mean, by all means. But that's what I would do if I could give you any kind of advice that you want to hear anyway. Like I say, most people, I'm not saying it's you. I'm not saying this is you at all. But a lot of people prefer, like, is there like a book, or do I only need to study for 3 hours a night every day, and then I'll make it and stuff like that. And those are things, you know, I wouldn't even be worrying about that stuff. You gotta love the process before you start worrying about what you're doing right or wrong about comics, because there's so much work that's in there. And if you don't like doing the work, then you got to find little ways to do little shortcuts and stuff. But anyway, I'm rambling in here. Okay, so let's pick a different color here, just so I can see where this is bleeding out. Cool. Curtis is saying, "Yep, I wrote and am in the process of drawing my own comics, so I agree with Jonathan." Cool. Okay, cool. Ben, I wonder if the Doblins are ugly because they are evil, or evil because they're ugly. Now we're going deep. I didn't think too much of that, to be honest. They go there. What would be the answer to that? I'm sure we'll figure it out whenever I'll need to get to it. Usually, like I would imagine, with a lot of bad guys, I try to like think of kind of like what you're asking or what you're saying there, Ben, which is like, okay, evil just to be evil is probably the most boring thing ever. But that doesn't mean that you have to come up with like some huge elaborate plot that goes over like issues or like years to figure out something. You could for sure, but even just something I think as simple as giving them a reason to, like you're saying, why, right? Like if it was the ugly thing, They just become what everybody else already thinks that they are, even though they're not. They're just not the best kind of bad guys. The world domination thing is always something here all the time. It's kind of boring unless there's a reason for it. You could just have something as lame as like they're just like they love possessions. They like to have things, and the easiest way to have things is just to take it. If I want a spaceship, there's one. I'll have that. That way, I'll have more spaceships. See, it's like a stupid thing. It's not like that's not Shakespeare. That's nothing amazing, right? But if you can figure out little things like that, I think anyway, it just helps them. Even with your writing and stuff, you sort of start playing into that a bit more, and it just you know makes things a little easier. Not relatable, but you can kind of understand some of the stuff that maybe the characters are doing, or something like that. Anyway, okay, so we got the flats. I believe all the flats are done here. Let me see. We got a special effects layer with like a bajillion speed lines. I'm not sure what we're gonna do with these just yet. I might get rid of a good chunk of them. Anyway, all right, we'll save this up here. And we'll start the next page. Okay, so that was a half hour. Really, eh? Wow. 1.5. Okay, now we're getting back to the big man here. All right, so yeah, we're good here. Let me just start the timer. Okay, so we got all this here. Now let's change the line art color. Sometimes when I use that cardboard cutout kind of thing, it spills over the into the gutter, so you'll lose some of that texture that's in the panel. So you just have to go through there and delete some of that stuff. Okay, so we got that. Let's start making our panels here. What do we got? 4 panels. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're gonna need, what do we got here? Just background, right? Yeah. So I always fill this stuff in, just so it's easier for my eyes to kind of see where each panel is gonna be. We can break it up a little bit better. Hey Davon, how's it going, man? You just woke up? Alright, man. Got a full day ahead of you. What are you going to do? Alright, I think we're going to start with Jesop down here because I haven't drawn him in a while, so I want to get some color going on him. Alright, let's go up to our swatches. Jesop. Alright, I like that. Davon's got a lot of drawing to do today. It's good. It's a good thing to have. It's a good problem. Okay, so I keep screwing this up. What is? You think I would know how to color this guy so far? Where am I looking up here? Okay, so that's what's blue. Jesus. I'll learn how to draw my characters soon enough. It's so stupid. All right, so we got that. His hair color. Let's color this up. Be super sloppy with it. And waiting for. Oh, sorry. I think you told us before. What were the emails you're waiting for? Acceptance for what? Was it the DC stuff? Is that what you're talking about? What else is white? I know, right? It's not. That's a sad truth, man. Hey, you forget to color your own character. Cool. It's this will be my excuse. I haven't had to draw him, or I mean color him anyway, for about, jeez, 3 weeks now. I want to say it sounds about right. Because the story's just been about like Momo leaving and stuff. It's a lame excuse, I know. How'd that come out? Cool. Let's clean that up. You're waiting for university emails. I'm trying to transfer. Oh, transfer into what, man? You just for like a specific class, or you moving or something, or you just tired of your school? All right, Jesop's done. Cool. All right, let's go to. So these ones here, I wanted to change some of these up here. We got like these little like kite flying things in the background, but this here is still Jesop's still kind of around his ship from like page 1. Let me just see. Because we have to pull up some colors. Which ones are we gonna go with? Page 6. Oops. Yeah, we'll figure out some color for this guy. I don't know what yet. Trying to go from junior college for 4 years, focus on animation. Ooh. So you got some tense time ahead of you here. Just waiting. I hope you get in, man. Alright, let's figure some of this out here. So we got the rock. I'm going to color that up a couple different colors. I hope I do, but it's not like I'm really being nervous. Alright, cool. I like it. Doesn't put you on tilt, eh? It's good. So there was a bug in the previous... I don't know what color we can do with this guy. Let's go with like a... I'm trying to think. That'd be a cool color. You know, I actually don't mind this blue color. This gray. Let's just try rocking it here. What do we got here? Is this the same blue though? Let me... No, it's different. Okay. So let's try rocking this here. Alright, so we're gonna have this color here. So let's try going... We're here. We'll make them all blue. Now we'll go blue, and then yeah, we'll go to some orange so it kind of blends a little bit into the environment he's in. Yeah, we'll get a little more saturated. Okay, so maybe we'll do his like outside shell this color. Let's try it. See how it looks. It might look a little weird because of the rock. Just gonna go a little quick here just to see. Yeah, I think it'll work. Alright, we'll go like this. I'm gonna erase his legs so you'll see they'll kind of pop a little bit. Alright, so let's grab our lasso tool. Kind of looks like he's got like a little jacket on. That's stupid. Okay, so he's got a little coat. Alright, so we'll have this. We can bring it back maybe. Yeah, it's not bad. I'm gonna. I hate wearing this thing, especially when we're doing these long streams, so I might jump back and forth, but it's jacking my neck right up. Okay. Hey, me Meg, how's it going? Yeah, lasso race for the win. That sounded weird. What's going on here? Just give me one quick sec, guys. Just hit the old pause button. I'll be right back. All right. Okay, let me just catch up with what you guys are saying there. Chaz, my imagination or memory is not the best when it comes to drawing people from my imagination in all kinds of poses and camera angles. Do you have any good exercises or practices to learn that? um, again, I'm like the worst guy today for you. Just keep drawing, man. Again, just okay. Practical stuff. What I would do is grab a comic book. Okay, here, grab this. Pluto, awesome comic book. Let me see if I can find something here. Okay, so this isn't an amazing shot. I don't know if I can see it. Let me just bring this up. Okay, you see this guy? He's like riding a machine, but it's like that. It's a down angle. It's a hard one to draw. Some people struggle with it. You'll get over it for sure. So in that, again, that 80-20% that I'm talking to you about, and please, I know not everybody's going to agree with what I'm saying here, but I got to stand by this because it's something, like I've always said, I should have been doing, and this is just old man advice. So some of you probably won't even listen because it's not like, go read this book and it'll fix your problem in 30 days or less stuff. And I'm not trying to be harsh. I just trying to do some real talk here. Make comic books 100%. Push yourself to do these poses you can't do. And if you're struggling, grab a comic book and look at what they're doing and do your best to copy it. When you're done, spend like a half hour a night or in the morning and just use that as your study time every day. And if those poses or whatever it is that's kind of, getting you flustered, then that's what you study that day or that week. And eventually these things, the only way you're going to get better is by doing. And I actually posted this. I forget which book I was reading where they said this, and I shared it with you guys too, is it's impossible to get worse at something you do every day. So all this stuff that a lot of you guys, myself included, struggle with certain poses or design or whatever, ask anybody in here that's been drawing for any period of time how just drawing regularly every day, if they got worse. And I'm sure you're you, not just you, but like anybody else that's asking that question, you're in the same boat. Like, you have to be better than the way you started. You might not be where you want, but just doing there. So the takeaway from all that is just keep drawing comics. If that's what you want to do, be a comic book artist. Keep doing that. Other than that, just make sure you're putting time aside to study from like art you like or a specific thing that will help you get through something. So if it's complicated angles and stuff, you can start looking at like some really dynamic animation, manga, superhero books, artists that draw really dynamic stuff, and look what they're doing. And in your study time, just try to break it down and understand it. My opinion, that's where you're going to get the most mileage. I hope it helps you out anyway. I'm not trying to say any of this stuff to make you feel down or anything like that. I'm just trying to speak in, I love that word, real talk. So dumb. Okay, so Will's the only outlier in this whole thing. He actually got worse. If you saw his art to where he is now, it just went to shit. Just went to shit. Mega stream. Hey Hugh, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, we're gonna be streaming for a while today. A good while. Curtis is working on the cover for his comic. That's awesome. Davon is everybody's drawn today. It's great. Let's give him some teeth. Little weird buck teeth. Okay. Maybe we can also, let's give his claws a little bit of color. Just trying to make them a little bit of like light colors so that these creatures can tend to look a little creepy. Not that this guy does. He looks like a big goofball, but just try to give it a little bit more lightheartedness to it. Okay, so the background though, we need the background. What was the background? This very whitewashed background. Oops. We'll just get our airbrush. We're gonna actually. I know the sky isn't the same color here. I'm just gonna pull this down a bit, just so we can get some range. I don't know what the hell I was thinking by going that saturated. That's better. Cool. All right. Hey Sean, how's it going, man? You just posted. What was it? Damn, you were like on a posting spree. Was it yesterday or the day before? Man, your stuff just keeps getting better and better. And I know I'm gonna start schoolgirling on you here, but good shit, dude. You just had an hour and a half of bath. Oh, that's awesome. Ah, shit. I forgot to do this again, didn't I? Image resolution. Yeah, did it again. Let's go to 300. Hey, Undead. Yeah, man, thanks. I said it before. At work, we work like an extra hour and a half every day. I believe that's maybe it was only like 45 minutes. Anyway, every Friday we get done early, or every second Friday we get off. So this is the second Friday. So the only reason I'm even bringing that up is if you guys are interested in checking out the streams, providing no life things, I'll every second Friday I'll be streaming pretty much all day, unless there's something crazy coming up. So if you guys are interested in that, and I'll try to make like these Google events. You guys let me know. So far they've been awesome. Getting a lot of positive feedback from you guys. Getting a little notification and stuff. It's been great. I know V's not in here, but I want to say thanks if you're watching. I know you watch some of the recorded stuff, but thanks, man, for bringing that up to me. Just a cool little way. And I'm trying to. So far, I'm not doing like days in advance because I don't. You never know what today's going to be, and if you even feel like doing something, right? So I'm going to try maybe doing like one a week again. I keep saying that. We'll see how it goes, but yeah. Thanks, guys. You're trying, yeah. Okay. Dang. Something in my throat. Cue the jokes. I was thinking of starting a little sub Facebook group because I've gotten over the last couple months a few emails, and we talked about this during the last stream too, of people getting frustrated of like not necessarily how-to stuff, but like how do they make time to draw comics and all this thing, and they have a full-time job and a family and all that. So the subgroup was like comic artists who have full-time jobs. You know, I don't say like it's a support group, but I think there might be a little bit of value in there just for like-minded people to hang out. Not just me. Like like I'm fine with my workflow and stuff, but I know there's a lot of you cats out there that are just based off the people that are sending me messages anyway. That I don't know if it's just like you feel like you're not alone, but there's no way out, or the output you're doing isn't on par with other people that are doing this stuff for like friggin' full time. And it's just like lowering your expectations, so that you don't have to. Everything. Let's be honest. Nobody cares if you succeed. Maybe like your closest friends and family, possibly, but the majority of people just don't care about a lot of things, right? So nobody really cares if you personally succeed or not, and that can kind of get a little I'll say dark, but it can kind of get you in places where maybe you just need other people that are in your same situation, you know? I don't know. Maybe there is a Facebook group that already exists for that. I remember seeing one, it was like comic dads or something like that. I don't know. It's weird. The legend. What? Someone on my Facebook feed posted a video from, I don't remember the country, got talent where a guy drew a portrait with his okay, if he can do a decent job, then we wow. Legendary penis painter. Well, see, so it's only you holding yourself back, guys. Okay, why is he what? Interesting. Boom. Alright. So these two panels, I think I'm just gonna change the color of them. Just have some fun. I think these ones kind of look like another area that was there. I thought I opened it up. I guess not. Alright, well, let's do it. Maybe we can go to like some pink kind of rocks, maybe. We'll go around here. Curtis, you missed drawing digital. Why is that, man? Sean Hill is saying, I draw comics as a second job, and time always seems like the enemy. But all in all, you kind of have to adjust your expectations of yourself and just try to draw a bit each day. That is 100% true. I agree with everything you just said. A lot. You know what's funny? How much these streams overlap, and I think it's just because the content's the same, pretty much. Like somebody will re-ask a question that's similar to one that was already asked the day before, so I feel like I'm repeating when I say this stuff. But like Sean saying, I was in the same boat. A lot of this stuff for a very long time because the Marvel DC stuff is where I wanted to go, or at least that's what I thought I wanted to do for a very long time. And because of that, not in a bad way or anything, but because of that, I always thought that the work I would take on was launching points to get me closer to those goals, the Marvel DC stuff. And so I treated it as I think you should, as like a second job. And because of that, a lot of the decisions you make, they're very important. Like if you imagine going to a full time job or two jobs that kind of equal it to full time, which is a lot of what I was doing, when you come home to relax or to play a video game and stuff, that's all cutting into your second job's time, which is art, And for a lot of people, if you want to make art your full time gig, you have to do art when you get home. You have to treat it like a part time job. That when you get home, you get dressed and you go to your art studio and you're drawn for a while because like if you're not putting that work in, you can't make that leap into like getting what you want or what you think you want to be, right? And if that's the case, you just have to do that. And I hear a lot of people ask about like how do you make the time and all that stuff. You just have to. Okay, being committed to do something is 100% the hardest thing for me. It always was. You have to be real and ask yourself. At least I would recommend this anyway. Ask yourself what is it that you can trim out of your life to make time to draw. And I know that might sound like well, if you wanted to be an artist, you would just draw. But a lot of times that might not be the case for a lot of people. It's you want to, but you're just burnt out when you get home and all that crap. And, just do it doesn't always work for everybody. But there's usually something in your life you can kind of trim back on. Usually. At least I found that to be the case for me anyway. So if it's like you come home and let's say you like to watch TV, nothing wrong with that. Well, anyway, you like to watch TV, right? Well, when you eat dinner, let's say. So that's the case. Well, maybe don't watch full episodes. And this was something I tried, and it was super tough, guys. Which was like, I love Seinfeld. That's my favorite show. And what I did when I tried to do freelance before I screwed it all up way back in the day was I would watch like an episode which is about 20 minutes to 30 minutes, but halfway through I would pause the video and then I would go draw. So I would eat, but I'd only get like 15, 20 minutes to eat. So what happened was my downtime was the cooking, and it used to always be something I would just rush through. What's the quick thing I can do in that? But once I started just taking like that 15 minutes I would have watched Seinfeld, let's say, to just slow down and cook, I was able to just let my mind kind of just be free and not worry about stuff or being distracted by things, right? Just focus on that. And then once I went and I started watching the show, usually what happens is we like to have stuff completed, right? So when you watch a story or a show, if it's only 30 minutes, it's only 30 minutes, but you still want to watch it to the end, even if you've seen it before. So what I would do is I would pause it and be like, damn, I'd have to watch it either that night before I went to bed or the next day. And that's just an example of it, just so I could get away from it. And I noticed just that leaving it earlier, it was breaking some rhythm habits that I was having that I didn't even really know about. And by breaking those little habits up, I was staying at the art board a little bit longer every day. So really, it's just trying to figure out little ways you can get, more. Just changing up the habits that you currently have. So much of this stuff is like habitual, guys. Like you come, like we all go to work, we eat, we sleep, that stuff, right? It's all habit. And if you want to find time in your routine, some people it's a lot more difficult. You've got like a family and all that. Um, but I guess you just kind of ask, like, what's the goal of what you're doing? And I still think, like, so many people don't even ask themselves that question. Like, why do you want to draw? Because you want to make money or you just want to draw all the time. Okay, that's great, but like, there's got to be like a thing. Whether it's I want to make a book, I want to get hired by a company, I want this to be my full time job. Those are all goals that will change all of your habits if you're willing to, and be difficult with yourself. Just change all those habits and become or start taking actual momentum towards those goals. So I'm gonna be right back, guys. And then I'll answer some of those other questions you guys had. Okay, be right back. Okay, we're back. So, oh Jesus, that light's coming in. That white light's coming in hot. It's like I step over here, my bald head just disappears. Like, anyway, I just saw this thing, and I just want to share it with you guys too. Okay, before I answer you guys, your guys' little questions there. And it's funny. We were just kind of talking about this, and I just saw this thing on Facebook. And if I can play it, I can play it. It's right there. Cool. So let me just open this up, and I just want you guys to hear it. You don't have to agree with any of this stuff. There's some profanity. There's all that fun stuff. And it's by, I don't know if you guys listen to Joe Rogan. I don't, it's not a big deal at all, but the context of this video, it's super short, but it's Gary Vaynerchuk, who again, I don't know where this guy came from. He's probably been around forever, but when you find somebody's content, kind of like a webcomic, you find it, you like it, and you just absorb as much as you can. Well, he's like that. He's got a whole bunch of other content and stuff, but the words that he says, they usually resonate with me. And it's a lot of talking about people that have like the self-doubt, and maybe the things you're doing aren't helping you, I suppose, in certain ways. So, okay, I hope the volume works, because if it doesn't, then this whole thing just went to shit. Let me just see here. So if we click this, should work. So I'm going to stop hearing the mic here, and then you guys should be able to hear it too. Okay? Let's give me a second.
So what should we do, Gary V? Let's wrap this up.
Yeah,
what should we do? What should people do?
People should fucking stop complaining.
Right.
People should figure out who the fuck they are.
Good call.
People should not listen to America propaganda of fixing the shit they suck at. They should be tripling down on what they're good at. They should be competent in certain areas, but you're not gonna become Beyonce, or like your bone structure is a certain way. Like, you're not gonna solve everything. Your IQ can get a little bit better, but don't worry about the incremental. Figure out what you fucking puts you on fire and you're halfway decent at. If you're lucky enough right now to be listening and you're good at what you like, become tunnel fucking vision. Because there's way too many voices telling you what and how. And here's the other thing, and this is the big one, Joe, because you have a humongous audience. The biggest thing that I've seen dividends from: have the conversation with the person that's holding you back. The reason most people who are listening right now are not doing that thing is they're worried about the opinion of somebody, usually their mother, usually their father. And the reality is that your spouse may be the person holding you back, and you have to have that conversation.
Cut them off.
We have to get to a place where you're doing you, because the number one thing that scares the fuck out of me is regret. And you're gonna sit there at 72 and you're gonna say, I wish, I wish, I wish. And whether that's money or spend more time with your family, there's a million ways to do this. Not everybody wants to buy the jets. Not everybody wants to smoke weed on the beach in Bahamas. Like, everybody's got a different fucking thing. Figure out what your fucking thing is and stop making fucking bullshit excuses. Who the president is, your mom did this, like I missed it. I had that idea for Uber. Then why didn't you fucking do it, dick?
Yeah, so there you go. I know it's so out of the blue and stuff, but I hope that helped you guys out. Or maybe, I don't know, go check Gary V's stuff out. Great stuff. All about that. No excuses if you're focused on stuff. Really just start doing it. Stop getting in your own head. All that kind of stuff. Anyway, let me just respond to what you guys were saying. And if you guys want to hear more Gary V stuff, let me know. I got a whole bunch that we can scroll through. Ben, you're probably gone already, but yeah, I'll most likely still be here. Curtis, my computer crashed last year and I haven't been able to afford a new one. Okay, well, that sucks, man. Is there anything you can sell? Like, if you want to be a digital artist, one thing I would say, right? Like, I purged. If you guys can even see behind me, you can't really see it, but I've only got like 2 bookshelves of comics, of trade paperbacks. These are things that I love. I sold like the rest, just to make some extra cash, Is there video game systems you guys don't play, movies you don't play? You got like stuff. Sell that stuff. Buy your computer. If you want to be a digital artist and all you need is that computer, but you're on hard times, there has to be some way you can scrounge up some cash. Don't always worry about your paycheck coming in or your checks coming in as the only way to make money. If you got to make money, go what I've been doing? I've been going to like a Goodwill that's up near this, literally up near where I live. And I've been going there maybe, I don't know, every other weekend or every 3 weekends. And I'll just go buy stuff like board games for like $1, $2, Pokemon stuff, like just stuff. And I sell them on like Kijiji, Craigslist, eBay, Facebook for like $20 to $40. So I'm flipping stuff on the side, and I'm getting in an extra like I don't know $200 to $500 a month just doing just that. Do you know how much? And I'm not trying to gloat or anything. I'm just saying that there's, and I heard that from Gary Vee is a great example. He's like, you need to make, if you want to make money, go garage sale and buy stuff and flip it. It sounds like hard work, doesn't it? Like that. I'm not a comic book artist, so I wouldn't do that. But I'll tell you right now, money makes things a little easier. Okay, money lets you buy the Cintiq you want, the computer you want, the new pencils, the art board that you need, or the drafting table. Sorry, concept art books, things that help buying courses online that you think you might need for perspective. If you're not moving for these things, like how is it ever going to happen? You know, and I'm not criticizing what you're saying. I'm not. I'm just hopefully trying to like spark some like momentum if that is what's holding you back for that anyway. And Will can't stream because he's doing. That's right. You're doing Marvel stuff, man. You can't be streaming that. And Hugh, why are you saying you need to draw digitally way more? Do you just need to draw more? Or is there something magic in the digital that you need to do? You see all the new Wacom I haven't. I haven't seen the new Wacom stuff. Is it really Wacom stuff's so scary, guys. It's so expensive. So I haven't looked at too much of that stuff. Anyway, let's keep going. All right, so we're trying pink rocks. Pink rocks looks good. Let's change this background color though. So what did we try here again? Sorry. So we went here, and then our color wheel went there and there. So the sky should be like a green. It's gonna look funky. It's kind of like the green we're already doing. That's alright. It doesn't look too bad. So we're gonna like storm skies. Yeah, I'll do like a pale green. Sorry guys, I keep like squatting. I keep squatting down, just like stretching my legs out. Yes, I got a 21 UX off eBay for $500. It's got dings and it's beat up to hell. I love it. It's awesome. And the only reason I got this, I've said it before, is just because I wanted a little bit more room to draw on. I still heavily believe in, and I still have it down here in case something happens to this, the 12UX, or the 12WX, the old model we had, like the smaller one, or possibly even if I had to buy a brand new, let's say this dies today, I hope it doesn't. Let's say it dies, then I plug this one in and that one dies and I have to buy something. I most definitely would buy the 13 HD, I would assume. I might go and look for another big one like this, but the HD sounds like it'll be cool because I think the color is a lot better, which is great. And the little guy, it's a great tool. I think it's awesome. The only reason I went with this is because I like having. It's not necessarily that I can do big strokes on this, right? Like I'm not digitally painting and stuff. I'm drawing for frick's sakes, right? But what I like is if anybody's worked with traditional comic pages or anything, you could be like this, drawing. And then you look over here and you're like, I'm going to do a little shading over there. And you can do that. I don't have to zoom in and out to do that. And really, that's the only reason. And that's why I decided to go with the used one instead of buying new, because there's no real reason for me to like extend my wallet for like a little thing that for me doesn't matter. But you guys could totally all be in a different boat. Plus, I can zoom out. Like, look at this here, okay? Like, this comic page is 8.5 by 11 or whatever, right? And I would do roughs and stuff here. On the small Cintiq, I could do this too, but I would have to be maybe around like here. I could fix my zooms for that too, but I do enjoy just having that little extra room to when I'm zoomed out. Like I can still ink at this level, which would be about here or here on the other Cintiq. But it's not a necessity. Like it's a nice little thing to have, but I definitely wouldn't say it's something that would like make or break your comics. In your comic work. Hopefully I'll get a new one soon with income tax and I'll start to ink my comic. Okay, if that's what you gotta do, my man, I wish you all the best. Alright, let's try, I think I just hit puberty there. Did you guys hear that? Where's our text? There, we gotta see all that stuff. let's lower the opacity on that. Hugh, I also own a Surface Pro 3, but the screen smashed when I was traveling. Oh, God. Sorry to hear that, man. Did you feel that in your cojones when, like, you dropped it? Ugh, it couldn't have been a good feeling, man. Sorry, dude. Okay, so we got two different skies going on here, hopefully to show two different locations. I want this third one to be a different location. I mean, the sky can't change so drastic. Like, it's all on the same planet here, right? So if it goes, like, from green to purple to blue... so what do we got here? Green to blue. Maybe we can go like a little teal or something. A little teal. Like a transition color. Yeah, let's try that. Alright, so let's use our color wheel juiciness. So we're still going to go with... Let's go with the red rocks again. Okay. And we'll darken this one up a bit. Oops. This weird thing. Can you guys see it on your screen? I don't know. It looks like this one. What an optical illusion. I don't know if you guys are seeing it, but this guy right here, this rock, it looks like there's a gradient going from dark to light. And there isn't. It's a flat color. But because the background is doing... the background's a flat color too. Weird, man. That's interesting. Color, it's no, it's no joke. I'll leave them on a layer. We can color them. Okay. It's basically the cost of replacement we get on the screen repair. Oh, really? That's horrible, dude. Hey, David, how you doing, man? Wacom has a new Cintiq Mobile Studio 13 and 16 inch, but the cost can go over $3,000. Nah, forget that. Okay, I will say this. Just a little more of my opinion on this crap. So I always hear people complain about the price of Cintiqs. Now, as somebody that doesn't like, I'm cheap as hell. So $3,000 for something, forget that. But there's something I'm not sure if you guys take into consideration, or most people probably don't. You just look at the price and it's too much, right? But tools that people use, like these things are not priced for the average artist or a hobby artist or any kind of artist that does this stuff part-time, right? The Cintiq is priced. It's like Photoshop, the way it used to be back in the day, where it was like $1,000 every upgrade and all that stuff. They're priced for production, okay? Meaning, if you work at a video game place or a movie place or a studio of some sort, they're geared towards companies. And that's why they're priced like that, because it's the standard, right? Just like Photoshop. You need Photoshop for pretty much anything digital, right? So they, back in the day anyway, they would price it accordingly for that. Where people get butthurt, myself included, with Cintiqs, is that if they're the best, I want the best, right? But you just have to know that if you are only doing this as a hobby, you don't actually need a Cintiq. There's so many other better priced alternatives that you can have, and you won't even notice the difference, most likely, right? Once once your hobby becomes your job, right? Like just say you want to be a comic book artist, right? And you're 100 like tunnel vision, like Gary was saying. I'm tunnel vision into being a comic book artist, and you're drawing and you're drawing and drawing, and all you're doing is drawing when you get home or whatever, and just building and building and building. Then it makes sense to spend money on something like this. Not that I have it, but like what you guys are talking about, it makes sense to buy something like that because it's now it's a legit thing for you. It's a tool that's helping you in your professional career. It's not for hobby artists and stuff. So the butthurt part is people get upset when it's not priced for people like that are normal average people, I would say, like the majority of us, right? Your income, you probably have debt and other crap, whatever, right? You probably don't have the money to do that. And you probably, I'll be honest, you probably shouldn't buy, like if you get this thing, it's not going to just change your career. You're not just going to go, now I'm the best artist ever, right? It's not going to happen. And if you think it is, then that's where you should probably look at either the used stuff, if you wanted to get a Wacom, the used stuff, or go into like their other models, like the lower end stuff that's around like the 12WX. I even think the 13HD is around $1,000 or 1,500. That will give you the same experience if you're just looking to draw. But you might find out that when you get it, you don't actually like drawing on a glass surface and stuff, right? So there's so many other things. It's just, I don't know. I think some people, they kind of get upset when they see a price and it's like it's way out of my league, and it's like, well, it's not for the general public. That's all. Dave on saying, I think about the idea of cost per use, and it can help to justify a more expensive purchase. Exactly. Yep, I agree. Saw one Undead saying, I saw one Wacom product. It's a tablet you lay a piece of paper on. You draw the paper with an ink pen, and the tablet digitizes everything. If you want to undo, you get a new piece of paper. Interesting. That sounds pretty cool. Yeah, no, and I'm glad you guys are all mirroring what I'm saying there. Like Will, Marvel artist, done lots of published work through the big boys and stuff, right? He still uses a 12WX. I say it all the time. Freddie Williams, he still uses a bamboo, like a bamboo, okay? So, and that's like the lowest of a Wacom product, right? That you might consider, whatever. You uses that. At my day job where I'm doing a lot, I don't do line art. It's mostly not as much line art as I do with comics. I use an Intuos. 12WX is great, all that stuff. Some of you guys are saying like, what was it? You don't just Cintiq is an investment. It's not something you buy. Exactly, and I would say too. And this is just for mostly from me, and I know a lot of people won't agree with this stuff, but I'm personally grateful that I have this mentality, most likely from my dad. If I had to remember, I'm not even sure if he's the one that told me, but it's hard. It's having discipline with it, which is not buying stuff unless you can pay for it in cash, and that's really something new that I've come up with. So when we're talking about investments still means saving up to buy something, right? And I'm not again criticizing anything you guys are saying. But like if you have to go in debt for any of this stuff, and I say this every time, please don't. Just stop. Stop going in debt for stuff that you don't need. It's not going to be the magic thing. You might not want to hear it. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to help you out. That's all. Don't think like if I get a Cintiq, with the investment mentality anyway. Don't think if you get a Cintiq that all you need to do is now you'll be able to draw a lot better and all this stuff, and you'll start getting maybe not client work but commissions, and you can use that commission stuff to buy it off. That's like I was about to say a loser's game, and I don't mean a loser like you're a loser. I mean like it's a losing game. It's like gambling. It's not. It's fun. It's not something that you're just going to like recoup right away. You might not ever do it, and then if it's especially if it's debt, like that shit's sitting with you for so long. Who knows how long it's gonna take to get that stuff back? You know what I mean? Like art's not hard. And just here, please understand where I'm coming at. And I'm not trying to say this in a negative way. Art isn't hard. Art only requires you to do it, study from it, always be a student, continually learn, continually ask questions, and get your stuff out there. That's it. Make contacts, meet friends. That's all art is. And art's about sharing it with people. Art's not about going in debt. Like, it's not becoming a doctor. It's nothing like that. You can be a professional artist and learn everything after school or after work, just sitting at home with a blank piece of paper and a pen, a Bic pen, with an anatomy book, or you're just drawing out panels and compositions. You can learn all that stuff without having to spend your life savings. And if you want a Cintiq, save for it and buy it. Trust me, if some of you guys, there was one person in particular, we had a Google Hangout meeting, and he was getting so stressed out because he had school debt, and he just had that life decision where he's like, you know what, I'm done with. I think it was animation that he wanted to do. I won't say his name, obviously, but it was either animation or something he wanted to do, and then he was just having, like, nothing was picking up in that for him, so he just started going, you know what, comics, let's just do comics. I can do all that stuff. But he was getting stressed out because he's like, okay, well, if I'm going to do that switch, I need like a Cintiq because I don't like drawing on paper. I gotta get Manga Studio. I gotta get Photoshop. All these things, and he was getting so buckled down by all the stuff that he had to pay for and all that. And it was sort of, for me anyway, I tried to pull him back a little bit and just, like, first thing about all this, guys, is you gotta be having fun doing this. If you're not having fun doing this, like, just stop now. It doesn't get better. I'll tell you that right now. It does not get better to the point where it's like, I'm glad I spent all this time not hanging out with friends or anything. You got to spend so much time on your own just learning and asking questions. Again, like I keep saying, that like if you're not in it for the long haul through the crap, no tool or anything like that is going to help you get through this stuff. It just doesn't. It's been my experience that that's just not the case. And some people, you guys might be a little different. I'm not sure. Just trying to help you guys out here. And this discussion always comes up when we start talking about Cintiqs, doesn't it? Sounds like I'm anti, like, digital tools or something. Okay, here we go. Hey, Shane, how's it going? Right now is a good time to buy pre-owned anyway. I would say, like, pre-owned, in my experience, pre-owned has been fine. You're always going to get those people or those products or hear stories that they don't work and stuff. That's like anything, don't worry about that stuff. Like, if you can get something used, it's better, save you a whole bunch of money. And Will's right. Yeah, he got his 12WX for 450 euros. I'm not sure what that is. It's like that, like $600 or something like that around there, which is super cheap. And then now he does the hybrid method where I believe you do your line art and stuff and then print it out and then ink with the juicy quills. Q-Light is saying they also have pay-as-you-go plans too, but that's still an investment for your art career, not a hobby. I still don't. This is me. I'm just whatever. It's cash or nothing. Not having debt of any kind besides your house is a great thing. I'll tell you that right now. Nothing is worth, like, pay-as-you-go is the same thing as a loan. If something were to happen to you, the interest rates are crazy. Okay, now we're getting into financial stuff. Okay, anyway, I think the solution for folks is to try to use a Cintiq before they buy one. Find a friend who owns one, Yeah, and I will say, if you can get one from, like, Best Buy, order it, buy it, try it, and return it within 14 days. And I'm a huge advocate of this. I know it sounds stupid or greasy. Do that so you can try it in your workflow and see if you like it, and then return it. If you can't do that, it does suck. But just being able to try before you buy for any artist is huge, because we don't have. You can't just go into a store and go, here. Most of us can't go into a store. Here's a Cintiq set up with Manga Studio. And what's your, it's got all your hotkeys and everything all set up for you. You just want to see how it feels to draw. It's not ready yet, right? It's just like, here's a Wacom you can buy and hope for the best. And when you're spending that kind of money, that is crazy. All right, here's a great example. Sean Hill here. If you guys haven't seen Sean's work, please go check his work here on YouTube, especially Facebook, the stuff he's posting. Phenomenal artist, phenomenal artist. And he works on a Unova, and he paid about $600 for it. He had to do a lot of research, though, and judge the pros and the cons. There you go. Davon, I'm buying it for school. I factored in the idea of using it for classes and for building my skills. I was lucky to be able to briefly use one for the 22 HD in high school. Cool, man. Q-Lite, or use something cheaper before you buy something that's priced that you wouldn't like. Alright. So what do we got here? We got these dudes. Let's go with like, let's maybe make their tails nice and bright. How does that look over there? I would go brighter. Here, I'm going to show you guys this one thing. It's totally unart related, but I feel like it might help some of you guys out. And it has to do with money. We'll just go over this real quick, okay? So there's this guy. I've talked about him before. Nobody likes talking about money and all that stuff. I get it. Hear me out. All right, we're going to take a look at his website. Okay. I'm not religious at all. Not if you are religious, cool, do your thing, right? A lot of his stuff is around what's it called? Religion and money and all that crap. I don't care about any of that, okay? I saw this guy's video. I don't know how the hell I was watching. I think I was looking up like how to budget because he wanted to save money, right? Just like anybody else. And I came across his stuff, and he's like your grandpa telling you what you should be doing with your money and how to do stuff, right? I would recommend checking this guy's stuff out. I don't even know if it's getting cut off. His name is Dave Ramsey. Let me put it down here so you guys can see it. Now, I want you to see, this is basically, I think it's here. I hope it's here. And he basically has like, I think it's the 7 steps that he talks about. And I'll just quickly go over them with you guys, because if this can help any of you guys out, if this can help any of you, then if this only helps one person and pisses off the rest, sorry. But, you know, I'm just trying to help you guys out. This has helped me huge. 100% has helped me huge. And all of us that are artists, just know this. If your field is art for the rest of your life, hopefully, right? Money is something you got to be on. And if you're not, you're going to live paycheck to paycheck, which a lot of people currently do, and that's not really a good way to live. If you want to talk about, you know, finding the time to make time for art, but you have bills to pay, like that's super scary to me, man. Like, you need money, right? And time is money, money is time. And if you don't have control of both, like, how can you mentally be ready to like sit down and just draw? I can't imagine. That's a scary, stressful world, man. Anyway, let me see here. Okay, well, the first step, I don't even know if I remember it. I was just trying to see. Let me open up a second window here. And we'll get back to drawing. I know. I can already see. This is the best part. Just as a fact, right? We just dropped like 5 subscribers. And this happens every time I bring this up. I love it. Dave Ramsey Baby Steps. That's what he calls them. All right, let me just get here. Okay. So this is, I believe this is them. I'm just going to bring it up here so you guys can see it first here, okay? So this is his like 7 steps, okay? So the very first thing you would do is you save $1,000 as soon as possible. Sell shit. Sell stuff you don't use. All that crap. Get $1,000 ASAP. And the reason for that is bad things are always going to happen in life. You're going to need a car repair. Your computer's going to die. You got a medical bill. Something will always happen. By having $1,000 in the bank that you don't touch and don't do anything with, you know those stresses you might have had? Like, let's just say somebody in the chat room was talking about their computer died. Now you got nothing you can do. Well, now if you had that $1,000, boom. Because if it's an emergency, like your life, like let's say that was your job. Like right now, let's say I was doing comic books full time and my computer died. I'd have to buy a computer today. I'd have to, or else my livelihood goes down the tubes. So if you have that money saved, then you can go get yourself out of any kind of shit that a lot of people keep getting stuck in. A lot of people can't even get to that first step. So that's the first one. The second one is pay off debt, which always sounds like so crazy. What he has here, and this is awesome. My girlfriend is actually doing this right now, and it's insane how quickly this works. So what you do is you list your debt in order from smallest to the largest, right? So like here they've got what is it? Diagnostics, they only need $50 to pay it off, and their minimum payment every month is 10. Then hospital total. Basically, what you're doing is you use all your savings. You stop once you get $1,000, you stop saving money, and all you do is you dump it into your bill. This first one, you pay all your minimums. Any money you have over at the end of the month, any money you can extra make, all the commissions you guys are doing, you just pump into this debt. And the reason you start with the smallest one, and a lot of people start with the biggest one. They do the opposite. The reason you start with the smallest one is because it starts to build positive feelings inside of you. You start getting, wow, it's gone, right? You get a high from it. And all you're doing is that minimum payment. You just take that $50 and you add it to, like in this case, your hospital bill, right? So you can see how they're paying $38 a month. Well, now that the diagnostic is gone right here, you're adding it to this. So now it's 48 instead of 38. I know that sounds kind of crazy, whatever. And it's a snowball. Think of it as a snowball. You start with the small one, and it gets bigger, bigger, bang, bang, bang. Okay, that's really it. Okay, and it sounds crazy, but you can watch his channel, all this stuff. You can hear people that are paying off ridiculous amounts of money in like a year or something, right? And it's anyway. Once that's done, you're into step 3, which is 3 to 6 months. So you have that $1,000. You're going to build that up to what your living expenses are for food, shelter, all that stuff, for 3 to 6 months. So why is that? Well, what if you lost your job? What do you do? $1,000 probably isn't going to cover it. And remember, you have no debt at this point, right? So now all that debt money you were spending is building up this emergency fund in the background in case you lose your job or something traumatic happens. Right? That's there. And then literally after that point, it's gravy, guys. Because now all that money you've already been spending is now it's going into investing, and investing is crazy. I'm going to be getting into that soon, and I want to make a video on this too, talking to people about it, because I don't hear anybody really talking about money. Just they always say like, what was it? You just take what or like if you get a commission paycheck, you take that and you put half of it into savings, and that's great, but it doesn't do anything. Or like I've never heard people talking about anything after that. And that's what I love about this and this investing stuff. I have no idea what investing is. He talks about it, but basically, if you start getting into there, then you're talking about really saving up some serious cash. But please check this out if you guys are into, and again, the reason I bring this up is because we're just talking about Cintiqs and $3,000 plus and all this crazy stuff. And a lot of you guys don't even have any money in your bank account, or you guys got huge, tremendous debt. If those are the cases, like you can't, please don't be buying these things. You're still stuck in a loop. It's bad. It's bad because if something horrible happens, what if you had to sell the thing you just bought? Imagine that. Oh, like, do you want to talk about like destroying your morale and stuff? I don't know. Anyway. See you later, Curtis. Thanks for popping in, man. Hugh, yeah, I know, Hugh, you're a fellow Dave Ramsey guy, right? I think you were the one that said it before. I left a comment talking about that. Okay, let's get this going. Let's keep this gravy train going. All right, so we got this screen here. And let's warm it up a bit. What is that sound out there? Alright, let's just get rid of that. Whatever. Okay, so this one looks like it's about done. We're fine here. We'll get into the shadows and all that crap later. Alright, so let's save this up and let's add it to our timesheet. So that took an hour. Oh man, these flats are just taking so long. Alright, so an hour there, and let's open up page 16 where Jesop gets. It's not good for our hero here. We'll turn our text off. So in this page here, hey Jesop, this page here, I think I showed it yesterday. So Jesop's up there still talking to that little dude, and then the goblins start showing up. And they get like this little like electrical prod and zap them. So there's gonna be a lot of electricity and stuff here, and like an easy silhouette shot there. So let's get our dark blue. Yeah, we'll change our line art color. Cool. Let's get our timer going. If you can put aside, sorry, if you can put enough aside that if you suddenly couldn't work, you'd be able to survive for a month, that's the bare minimum for me. That's a good thing, man. Because I don't know why it is we all got stuck in thinking that. You know what? I don't mean to just keep talking about money and crap with you guys, but it's a real thing, especially for artists. That's 100%. People don't value art as much as I think they should, so like it's hard continually finding art work to do, you know. But in saying all that, there's a time some of you guys might be like this too, and I'm not criticizing anybody that lives this way at all. And I'm not saying the stuff I just showed you guys is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is like the cure to all this stuff or anything like that. I'm just trying to share an experience that might help maybe resonate with some of you guys that you guys and girls want out of a situation or something, right? But I used to always live. I'd save a little bit, but like saving was just like whatever was at the end of the month or whatever I didn't spend would be saved. But there's this thing, maybe you guys are like this, where it's let's say you made $1,000 a month. So what I would do is if I needed furniture, I'd buy furniture, but it would be like you don't pay for X amount of days. That is the biggest bullshit ever. But let's just say it was like you can, or it's only $150 a month. Well, what I would do is I would look and I'd say, well, I'm making $1,000 a month. So if I only subtract 150 out of that, I still get what is it, $850 a month. $850 a month to play with, right? So then I could go, okay, well, there's groceries and rent and all that stuff. And let's say at the end of all that, I've got like $300 a month. And I can go, well, now with that $300, I could maybe buy a video game, or I could go buy a PS4, or damn, I need a new TV because they're on sale right now. But they've got this thing right now where I can just say it's $1,000 for the TV, but I only got to spend $50 a month. Well, I've got, what did I say, $300 left at the end of the month. So yeah, I can go down to $250. I'll still be saving. I'll be paying that. Do you know what I'm saying? And what I ended up doing there is it's like I'm looking at how much money I'm making, and then I'm looking at like how I can squeeze it out and still be okay. I'll tell you 100%. That is the fastest way to get yourself in a world of shit. Because if anything happens in that time, you're fucked. You're absolutely You're either selling stuff or you're hoping now you're chasing money. And if you're chasing money, oh my god. Like that's a super freaking scary. And if you got a family or something, oh, please don't do that to them. You know how many people here have dads that like when you were growing up, or moms that worked and they were never there because they needed to pay bills, and then feed everybody and all that stuff. Great stuff. But you never saw them. And maybe some of you guys are like, I know for myself, my dad, he was always working all the time because I know they had debt, a lot of debt. And, I, as a kid, never understood it. But as you grow older, it's like, okay, well, my dad's kind of around, but not really. Whoops, I'm all over the place because I'm talking to you guys. And then you kind of, maybe you guys have had this conversation where like, well, when I have a family, I'm not going to be like my parents. I'm not going to do that. But if you're still doing those really shitty habits, like it's the first way to get yourself just screwed. And you might think I'm whatever. I'm up my own ass right now, but I don't know. Anyway, money can always start like it's one of those conversations that I know I have not just with you guys, but with other people, and people start getting fidgety and agitated, and it's a sensitive topic. It's definitely something it should be taught in school for sure, like 100%. Will's saying I'm spending my savings on making comics. Don't tell my girlfriend. Hugh, these days pay is generally quite low and building up decent savings is hard. I agree. If it's hard, and like guys, I'm telling you right now, please, like the one thing that I did, and it's working, so I know it can work for you guys. If you've got like a thrift store nearby, just a thrift store, and still it warms up, and you can go to garage sailing. I know it sounds like what, like who does this? Just go to like a garage sale or these thrift stores and find things that and it's going to take some time to learn it, but you'd be surprised. I'm finding like stuffed animals. I got Disney stuffed animal for 50 cents. And then I sold it on eBay the other day for like $25. Okay, it's only $25, and after shipping, maybe it's only 20. Only $20. That's one thing that I found out of all that. Imagine you're doing that like every weekend or every other weekend if you need money. That's just something, and it's not even a job. Just little things. If you're an artist, we can make we can sell stuff to people. And you might not, like I always, and I'm in the same boat where it's like you undervalue your commissions and stuff. But if you need money, just like why? So like there's this thing I heard. There's a few artists that go around saying like, I look at people's commission prices, and there's people that are asking like a lot, right? And you always have to be you, ask what you want. But there's people asking a lot. And then there's other people that are like selling it for $20, and you're like, man, you need to really raise your prices because the collective art community is almost at like a standard. They go to me and they're like, well, this guy's $150 for commission, but this guy's 20. I'm probably going to go to the 20 guy, and the 20 guy might be actually fine. And I agree, there's something there. However, I don't know what $20 guy's situation is. Maybe he just like, you know what, I need money ASAP, and that's why he's doing $20. Right? Like you can't hold other people not hostage, but like what you expect to get paid for this. If you need money, go make money. I know it probably sounds easier said than done, for sure, but there's got to be something you can do. If it's flipping stuff, like I just said, buying like lame, I don't even know what the resale on cheap comics are and stuff, but I'm telling you right now, there's ways out there. Garage sales are massive for this stuff. You can get your cash, man. Just to get you guys out of this situation. I'm not necessarily saying like to make a living off of it. I'm just saying to like help in like the dry times and stuff. But I know there's a good chunk of you guys out there that are like, screw that. I'm an artist. I don't do that stuff, and that's fine. I'm not here to like persuade you guys into like changing who you are. I'm just saying you can't complain about money being tight and stuff if you're not willing to go do something about it. That's all. Now this is getting into like an offensive defense conversation, eh? All right. Let's move on from this. Back in the day, a scanner was the most high-tech investment. You're right, man. An artist utilized to get his art. But man, do you remember those days? Freaking 90s. Was it the night? No, that would have been like early 2000s. Yeah, 90s, 2000s. You're right. It's cool. I remember going to some forums back in the day, and you would see people's art, and you're like, "Holy hell, that's awesome stuff! How do they get the? How did you scan that? Wow! Like that looks like it was drawn on a computer. It's crisp." Always looking for like, hey man, what's your scanning settings? 600 DPI, you can scan that high? Technology, man. It's so good. The simple times, eh? Well, one of the main reasons I'm inking pages traditionally is to make more income, to make more comics. And there you go. It's an excellent way to make money. Davon is a good, yeah. You know what? I'm glad you said that, Davon. Like I say, there's a group of people that enjoy talking about this stuff, and there's a lot of people where it rubs them the wrong way. And I'm not going to like filter what we're talking about. I get it. Every time this conversation always comes up, and it's usually always started by me, but every time this conversation comes up, there's like some salt that goes around, and like I say, I'm in the same little boat here. Nobody wants to be criticized, even though that's not really what we're doing. But nobody wants to think what they're doing is wrong, or, you know, all that crap. All right, let's keep this going here. We're going to get into some shading soon, too, so we can wrap up these pages. Be good. Nowadays, yeah, scanners are like, you can get them for like dirt cheap now. Yeah, inking is pretty tough. But best part about nowadays, it's like you don't have to ink stuff anymore. You know, you can get especially if you have a scanner or if you're friggin' working digital. Digital is the easiest way to do this, but just darkening your pencils, you know, and they make them look inked. Do you guys know? I hope some of you guys know. Oh, can't remember his name now. Actually, here, let me see if I still have his stuff up here. So let's go to our art Vandelay. Let's go into our tutorials. Because I emailed him one day asking him, how do you get your ink so clean? And it was a DeviantArt post that he made. I can't believe I don't remember his name. It's so disrespectful. But I remembered, anyway, he had a DeviantArt post. It was like a Marvel X-Men spread or something. And it was all done with pencils, but it looked inked. And I was like, what are you doing? And he just said like how he had his settings done in, when he scanned it in Photoshop, that his line art just looked ink, and he would do a little bit of cleanup work. And it blew my mind. I was like, holy shit. And that's when I was working on the standard at the time, and I didn't know how to ink, so I would just darken my pencils and spend quite a bit of time cleaning up. But he was so good at what he would do with his pencil work, like clean, and he was working with certain pencils that it would make it easier to do this effect with, right? So anyway, I reached out to him, and he was an awesome guy, awesome guy. There it is, right there, Mike Diodato. I still have it right there, Mike Diodato. I hope you guys know him. Great guy, great conversation, and these are the things that he sent me to show me. And I guess I don't have it in here. Maybe I got it in an email, or maybe I put it somewhere else. Anyway, he emailed me the settings he used to get this into Photoshop, so you could see how it got inked, and that's what I was doing with the standard and stuff. But it was great stuff. Let me just show you his pencil work that he was sending me. It's so crazy. Once it loads up here, let's give my computer a second here. Fast computers, fast. There we go. Okay. All right, so check this out. Oh man, beautiful artwork. Okay, so let me zoom in here. This is all pencils that he scanned in, okay? Just so you can see it. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's a little bit of color in here, which is fine. But there's imperfections everywhere, like right here. Now, when I was penciling, this would be like all the time. But I don't know if he was using a light box too with a lot of this stuff, but you can see he's using like heavy inks, or not inks, pencils, right? So you can see in here, I think this was like a 6B or something. It's not like that he was killing his hand, it's just it's a heavy lead. So the stuff came through a lot, right? And you would just run the settings through his little machine there, and then bang, here it is inked. I'm just going to go back and forth here between the two. Like, there's a little bit of cleanup work, but this is how, he was doing all of his stuff. And you can see there's little areas I'm noticing here where he adds stuff, like cuts into whites and fix this guy's face all together. But he would just scan this into Photoshop, run those settings, and then with white and black probably just draw over it. And there's probably little areas where you had to tighten it up a little bit. But I mean, for all you pencilers out there, like, and if you wanted to learn how to ink, you don't have to. You don't have to. That's why I love right now with art and stuff, guys. Anything digital, anything like this. Life is so good. I'm not saying digital is better than traditional. I'm not. I'm proving right now that it's not. You can still do what you want. But what I'm saying is the way we have digital tools nowadays, it can help your art, or it can help you work more comfortably. Not working digital, but I mean, if you like doing traditional stuff like this, you can comfortably bring it into like Manga Studio or Photoshop, play with some settings, and it can look ready to go. And you don't even need an inker, which is great, which is, huge. Here's another page he had. This one I like too. Look like crazy angles. It's amazing. See, like in stuff like this, like there's a, oh, maybe you guys can't see it, never mind. So yeah, so I'd share that with you guys. Thought I would share it with you guys. Don't worry. If you're the only guy working traditional, don't worry about it. It's all good. Infinite Roleplay, how you doing, man? Works traditional. What's the cost of electricity to do inks? It's true. I doubt an inker would like to ink that work traditionally, though. No, you're probably right. But I mean, like Mike Diodato, from what I understood, he only hired inkers if he was behind on a deadline. Nowadays, Mike just does everything digital. I'm pretty sure he uses Manga Studio. He's got some videos that he was posting, I think it was on Instagram. And he's doing like the crosshair brush or whatever, like the cross-hatching brush in Manga Studio. And he's running. It looks awesome. And he's even using like tone work and stuff. He's a class act guy. I got to talk to him once at a convention, like most people do. You run into somebody and they just start shooting the shit. Awesome guy. Very humbling talking to that guy. Will is saying inking tools and ink doesn't break the bank. Maybe 20, and the paper 20 pages about $10. Excuse me. So 30 for an issue of pages. I sell covers over $1,000. Talking heads 1 to 200. $300 to $1,000. That's a great bit of extra income to turn $3 into a potential $5,000. Yeah, and I just want to put it out there too. Obviously, Will works for Marvel, so he's got a pedigree with him. But what he is saying is true. For whatever reason, people like Will could be drunk. Will's did this, right? Will was working on independent projects. And how many, if you think you would sell one of your original pieces of art from an indie project, or like me with the standard, the original pages I have, nobody's buying them for the price that I would ask. But the moment you work for like a publisher, all of a sudden people think you're actually something of value, which is ridiculous. The art could be the same, you know. But because of that, and then you can start really moving some stuff along. So the long story, like just to sum that up, honestly, guys, as long as you're continually working over time, your rates will go up. The only thing that sucks is right now it might be tough. But if you know long term this stuff is an investment in yourself and all that stuff, then you're fine. You're fine. That's why I keep saying, please stop thinking about what you need to do today necessarily, or like yesterday, and why this, why that. Stop worrying about like the next year or 2 years of your career. Start focusing on 10, 20, 30 years out. If you can start making the building blocks to be that thing that you imagine yourself to be, or as successful as whatever you determine that to be. Some people's, some people, all they want is more time to spend with their family. So start taking steps today so that maybe not 10 years from now you can start hanging out with your family, but whatever you think happiness is for you, right? Like just, that's all it is. Start thinking legacy as opposed to like immediacy. Just a little way to think. And what it does too, I'll tell you right now, it makes a lot of stress go away. You know, the immediacy of things happening right away doesn't even matter anymore. At least it's been the case for me. I don't want to necessarily speak for everybody. And a couple of trees. That's funny. In 30 years, I'd be retired. Are you going to retire from drawing? Are you really? How many people in here? I'm not calling you out. If you plan to be retired and that's happiness to you, I wish you all the best, obviously. But this is for, I guess, everybody in the room. Who here, as an artist, thinks that you're going to retire at some point? I'm just interested in hearing it. There's no right or wrong answer. If you want to retire at some point, obviously I wish that happens to you. So you can be happy, right? Personally, for me anyway, not that I hope that I never retire, but I don't think I'll ever retire. The only time I would retire, I guess, is when this stuff stops becoming fun. Like if I'm not having a good time anymore doing this stuff, if it's causing too much pain, or I don't know, then I would probably retire. I can't even imagine. You know what it is? I know for me, like if I take a day off of drawing, it's hard. I get like there's like an itch in the back of my head of not just me going, hey man, instead of this you should be drawing, but it's like I don't know. It's just like a compulsion that I feel like I gotta do, even though if I have all the time in the world to do stuff, sometimes it's super hard to sit down and actually do it. Which doesn't really make much sense. But over Christmas there, I was fortunate enough to have, I think it was like a 2 or 3 week break. It was crazy. And I didn't really draw that much. And maybe not regret, but I was like, I couldn't find myself enjoying time off. I always felt like I have to do like busy work. I got to be moving forward on some stuff. Like I couldn't just take a day and just play video games. I would do that and I would start thinking like, what am I doing? I'm having fun, I'm enjoying my time right now. But at the end of this break, if I look back and it's like, well, you could have actually put a serious dent and still had a good time doing your stuff. I don't know. Trong is like, yeah, no, you're right. In 30 years, I'll be focused on going another 30 years. I'm playing drawing well into my 80s. I like it. It's like the honorable way that artists like to die. I want to die drawing my best page. So you better hope you never draw that best page. There's like a romance to that, eh? Oh, he died while he was at the art board. Doing what he loved. Or she. Will retire to do covers, my man. I would retire to create or own work. Yep. I wonder how many people that's actually true for. I asked a question on Facebook and Twitter the other day because I was just interested in the conversation, not like there's nothing right or wrong about it, but I was just wondering. Actually, how did I word it? Let me pull it up. I guess I could read some of the things to you guys here too. And we got good old Will Robson there. All right. So the question was, why do you do freelance for indie comics instead of working on your personal projects? Is it the short-term freelance money that sways your decision? And it's a general question, just interested in discussion. And the intent was that for that was like, so how many like what's the reason for you guys to do client work for people instead of doing your own stuff? Is it just the money? Like, and when I mean short-term money, I mean like most of us, if you're doing client work, it's like you get paid once and you're done, then you're on to the next gig and stuff like that. I was just interested in what it was. And Sean here, he said it's partly the money and sometimes the character in the story, which is that totally makes sense. Sometimes somebody presents you with something that's just really cool. You don't want to miss out on that. Scott, what did he say? I need the money, and I'm a lousy writer. A lot of my work has been as an inker, so I'm just one part of a team. Being on a team that counts on me keeps me focused. Yep, that's great. If left to do my own thing, I would flounder. Frankie, I'm a commercial illustrator, so my livelihood is based on getting work through various clients. I will admit that doing comic book work is a lot more fun than doing storyboards for truck ads. Johannes, money was important. Now having control is more important. Will, wanted to make money and draw every day. It was great and horrible at the same time. Kelly, freedom in stories, man. Devin, short-term freelance money, having someone else worry about storyline, distribution, promotion mainly. Yeah, I used to share that mentality too. And Don is saying because money helps pay the bills. So it's just an interesting little back and forth that some people had. Now I want to play this too. I shared this today. I thought this was absolutely funny. I was looking for. Sometimes I'll just on YouTube type in like webcomics or how to make webcomics, because I do find when you type like how to make comics and stuff like that, it's just like the traditional comic crap, right? But like sometimes with the webcomic people, not that everybody's skills are amazing or it's just different. It's like a different vibe. Anyway, so I was clicking on this one, and this is so like pure satire. I'm gonna play it for you guys. Hopefully you guys get a little kick out of it anyway. Let's click this open here. All right, and it's basically about making a webcomic. Can you guys see it? Let me just make sure it's on the screen. Okay, cool. I'd full screen it, but then, things are going to get cut off. All right, let me just play this here so you guys can give it a listen.
Hello, and welcome to webcomics, the wonderful online medium of comics loved the world over by readers who don't like paying for content and artists who don't like updating. Are you a creator with an idea in your head that you don't know how to get out into the world? Are you looking for a medium with all the effort of animation but none of the appeal? All the time consumption of writing a book with none of the profit? Do you kind of know how to code a website? Then webcomics might be right for you. You might be a writer who doesn't understand why your artist friends walk away when you tell them about your really cool idea for a comic. Someone has to draw this thing, and it looks like you're gonna have to hire a professional to help you out. At first, they'll be working for exposure, but don't worry, you'll be able to cover their fees once you start making all that sweet, sweet webcomic money. Your comic can be about anything. What's that? You don't have a story you want to tell, but you still want to torture yourself? That's perfectly fine. You don't need a script or even a basic plot outline to start your comic. In fact, the less planned out your webcomic is, the better it will be. Why not make a comic poking fun at video games or RPGs? There's a lot of untread ground there.
Here we are, the castle of the fiendish apostrophica. Hark, a save point. How funny it is that I point that out in universe. I hope we aren't killed by our comically villainous teammate.
Too much room for creative thinking and character development? How about a comic where people just talk about playing video games?
I like this game.
I don't like this game.
I'm the upbeat, naive one.
I'm the straight-laced, cynical one.
I am here also, and I have boobs!
Too formulaic? How about some gag-a-day strip comics, like the ones you read in the newspaper? If that update deadline's closing in and you're still at a loss with this week's strip, just fill your fourth panel with a wacky face or a non sequitur. Those are jokes! Oh, you don't want any jokes, you say. I get it. You're one of those artsy types that uses a brooding anime girl as your avatar. In that case, why not make your comics avant-garde versions of your own poems?
Ruined, soiled forever on my chest. I mixed my whites with the darks. My favorite shirt and my heart, both on the floor. Please support my Patreon.
Are you tired of being funny but still feel like wasting your own time? Why not draw hourly comics? And don't forget the lesbians. Every webcomic needs lesbians. Now that you know what your comic's about, it's time to draw it. Don't worry about how bad your first page looks because you'll end up hating it for years no matter what you do. Over time, your comic's artwork will naturally grow and improve. This is called art evolution. Of course, this is optional. If you don't want to waste all that time improving yourself, then why not just draw one set of stock images and use them forever? You know, like a sprite comic. If you refuse to wait for your art to evolve naturally, just keep remaking the first 4 pages of your comic over and over again for years until you finally realize your parents were right. You know you can draw a pretty picture, which is great because that's all there is to comics. Panel composition, typesetting, general flow, all optional. If you don't want to deal with these unexpected elements, just give up and make a counterintuitive comic with 1 panel updates. People will ask you if you're trying to be homestuck. You are. Whew. That drawing sure took a lot of hard work, didn't it? Now, are you ready to draw that same character again several times a week for the next 6 to 10 years of your life while you slowly lose all your free time and your friends and family grow further and further away from you? Hang on now, are you thinking of giving up? That's great! An important part of making your webcomic is not making your webcomic. These extended periods of laziness are called a hiatus. Hiatuses typically last between 2 months and forever. If your readers are getting impatient waiting for a new update, post fan art and guest comics. This is considered good form, especially when you have less than 50 pages. And nothing makes a better follow-up to page 3 than an unfinished rough sketch of page 2. Consistent update schedules are for chumps. Make sure to keep your readers on their toes by switching up which day you update at least twice per month. Better yet, use your updates to post other artwork you are drawing. That way your readers know you had the time to work on something, but not the focus to do your goddamn job. Is the stress of a constant update schedule just too much? Why be honest with your readers and actually gain their sympathy by telling them how overwhelmed you are? Just string them along on a false chain of "it'll be out soon" posts for months before disappearing altogether and changing your name to avoid the shame. Are you having trouble finding the time to work on your webcomic with that pesky day job? Why not kickstart your webcomic for over $80,000 so you don't need to work and then stop after less than 10 pages? If your followers want more content, then they can always buy the merchandise for your comic that doesn't exist. Pew, 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 pew. Make sure you never take criticism. Storytellers and artists improve by ignoring any and all critique. After all, you've been working on this story since 8th grade. If anyone knows how great it is, it's you. Be sure to treat all criticism as a personal insult. If you've got social media presence or an avatar, then you'll need a brand for yourself. Something recognizable, like a hat. One specific hat. This hat. That's the webcomic artist hat. Don't forget your cast page. Cast pages are a great way to introduce readers to the first 5 characters in your comic before you get bored and can't be bothered to draw the rest of them. Now that you have all the elements of your webcomic, you need a place to host it. Why spend $30 a year to make your own site when you can host it on DeviantArt, Tapastic, or Tumblr? The slow load times, inefficient archiving systems, and general aesthetic mismatch will do your comic proud. And nothing beats that feeling of binge reading through all of one of your favorite comics only to realize at the last second that every page had rollover text or a caption that you missed. And if you're lucky, you'll catch up just in time to discover that the artist abandoned this project years ago and literally stopped drawing it in the hallway to the final boss. Ugh! 11 years later and I'm still mad. What's this guy been up to anyway? What? Oh, look at that. He was the art director on Steven Universe. You know what? Good for him. It's really good to see someone putting in the time and actually making their way in the industry today. And finish your fucking webcomic!
All right, so hope you guys like that. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna click a "I like this" button on that. Anyway, I hope you guys. Oh my god. Anyway, I saw that and so much of that was perfect. I'm glad you guys are digging it too. It was awesome. The hiatus thing, yeah. Stringing people along. Oh god. I was totally that. The best part about that is I think there's a little piece in that entire video that everybody can, relate to. Mine 100% was that, hey, keep doing 4 pages of a webcomic until you eventually keep redoing the first 4 pages. I think this is what right now, this current iteration, this is like version 3 or something like that I've done that. Oh my god. Unreal. Ugh. Yuck. All right, let's do the doblins up here. Oh man. So many shots fired, right? And the best part is like none of it's wrong. Yeah, no. When it's funny when he was talking about the web hosting thing, I'm like, I know there's a few people that use Tumblr, and more than sure that I'm using it, and I know the reason why I'm using it, but I know what he's saying. He's basically just taking shots at. He's going through the process of what it takes to make a webcomic, right? And he's telling you all the things you need to do, but then he adds his little cheeky humor in there of like, and this is also how you fuck it up. So the website thing is it's true. I've seen a lot where and it's right and wrong. Everybody's gonna have a little thing on there as long as you know the reason why you're doing it, I suppose. And it could be you just don't want to spend the time making a website. I get that. But there's lots of sites out there that or spend the money to pay somebody to make a website for you and all that stuff. I get it. The reason I'm using Tumblr for the main.com is again Jersey Joe's talked about him all the time. When he talked about it, I didn't even consider it. But like he was saying that if his intent with Boulder and Fleet, and it's the same intent I have with this comic here, which is it's to build an audience, right? And if that's the case, then Tumblr is actually it's a good resource anyway. It's probably not the best, but it's good for showing, like making it. Sorry, I don't know where the hell I'm going here. Okay, there we go. Making it easily shareable. And I know he was talking about putting his on Instagram too, so it's like almost like a square, or it is a square comic. That way it shares well with everything, which is great. I don't know. I like that. It's on Tumblr anyway. I can post it. That's just one place to post it. I don't know. We'll see. And it's like everything else, right? Let's be honest. Okay, now I'm just defending the reasons why to make the choice. Oh, it's awesome. Websites are dead easy. Yeah, sure. You can set up a WordPress site. Takes like 15 minutes. Sure. And I think that's along the lines of what he's criticizing, right? That's a good video. What is... Davon, I'm using Tapastic because my webcomic is literally just to build up my storytelling skills, nothing really deep. There you go. Yep. Again, that's just it. There's reasons out there. Those resources exist, Again, it's just asking the why of what you're doing. It's a fun little jab. Alright. Are we done with our flats? No. Alright. Let's do Jesop's here. Cool. Okay. Let's do the little dudes. Hey, Taunting, how's it going, man? Hey, Hobby, how's it going? Glad you can make it. You didn't sleep just yet. Alright, I think these dudes are good. Ben, that's hardcore, dude. You're not gonna miss much. We're just doing flats. This page is actually almost kind of, maybe another 15 minutes, I'd say, and then she'll be done. Then we can start making these pages look a little bit more final. Is that everything there? Yep. Alright, what colors are little like Zapper gonna be here? It's gonna look good. It's purple. It's green. I'll try it out. Maybe green and like a blue, maybe. Oh, you're driving in the car and watching. Oh, Jesus, I didn't read that part. Yeah. Yeah, don't be doing that. Show's not that good. You know what? Maybe we can just do the whole screen. Oh, fuck. Yeah, drawn on the wrong layer. It's good. Hey, Inkbot. Hey, Pillowhead. How's it going, guys? Let's get the chair back. Still loving you. Okay. Lapsta, because I know I'll butcher your first name. Welcome. Question about about mindset. Oh, okay. I just agreed to do a 63-page book for a client because I need the money. I'm 5 pages deep, but I can't stop thinking and dreaming about my personal stuff that I've started. How do you deal with that and not think about it? You can't. I've never been able to, and that's one of the reasons why it's taken me so long to get to where I'm at right now and to say no to client projects. But what I would recommend doing, I don't know how much time you have, but I would probably spend the time to still work on your personal project, just not pages. Because you might get burnt out of doing comic pages. For me, a lot of the client stuff that I would do, like other people's work, the tricky part was like not like stopping momentum on working on their stuff, and I would start working on my stuff. But I couldn't work on multiple projects because I had day jobs. So, or you might have school in this case. I don't know. But I'm assuming that you don't have like all day to just draw comics, and it might sound great, but you probably don't want to do that. So what I would do is I would grab like a little sketchbook or make a digital one, or probably like an actual sketchbook so you can get away from the computer, you know. And I would just start world building and plotting out your ideas, and just use this time for like development. Meaning, like before I started, well, not even before, but I have a sketchbook right now for Jesop King stuff, where I kind of iron out ideas, maybe do some sketches. This might be cool, that might be cool, kind of stuff. And I would just do that. Now, 63 pages, I don't know how long it's going to take you. Probably, like it seems like it'll probably take you a while. Unless you're super quick. And if that's the case, then you'll be done it soon enough. So the reason why I'm saying that is like nothing's going to replace the feeling that I think you'll have by actually seeing your project come to life. But by still working on it in piecemeal in the background, it might still keep the energy high, and it might alleviate some of those feelings you have of you just want to do your own stuff. You know? I hope that helps anyway. It's a tricky one. It definitely is tricky. Because I know a lot of people they all want to do their own thing, but they take client work on because you need the money. And it's funny because it's like a catch-22 there. You know, as much as you want you need the money anyway. You're willing to work on other people's projects because you're still drawing, right? Where you could just go get a part-time job somewhere, and then when you come home, you don't have to do other people's stuff. You can do your own thing. It's a little give and take. But in this case, you've already committed to something. You can always pull out if you don't want to, right? I'm not saying that. If you need the money, you need the money. Go for the money. Just do like the background world building stuff in the background. And if it's like a simple comic, maybe just start doing like thumbnails. Something light. Something that doesn't require you to sit down and sink hours into it, so it doesn't become a job. If it becomes a job, you'll probably, if you might be like me, and new ideas will always creep up that seem fresh, and you'll jump into them because you're currently actually not working on the project you want to be working on. Yeah, so like, yeah, okay, like what you're saying too. Like, so I'm finally doing my own thing, but the reason I did that is I just had enough. So I stopped taking client work. There's still some client work I do take. Like I can't show you guys or tell you about the stuff that we just recently did. There's a NDA with that. I already told you guys all about that. But in saying that, there's still like I just turned down a few cover projects for a couple people, and I've done multiple covers for them for the same project, and they want like me to do the covers. That way, it's the same artist doing them all. And so there's a little bit of like I don't want to be an ass and say no because I've already committed, and I'm putting personal before business in that case. So what I had to do was just say like I'm super like I'm sorry that I have to be the jerk here, but I can't. I have to say no. And once you start saying no, it's like I find it's similar to like I don't know real life. I guess I found it to be anyway, where it's like once you start putting yourself first, you start feeling better, and it's not like it's not in a way of like you're stepping over other people, but you're putting yourself first in a good way. You're making time for you as opposed to other people. It's good. It's a good feeling. But it took me what? I'm 34 now, so it took me a while to click into that to make that switch. But I do think I always hear there's a lot of people that want to just do their own thing and get paid for it. So at some point you have to start doing that. Some people they will work for clients and stuff and build up an audience portfolio, and like you can live off of working for clients for a while. I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. Before I got my video game job, I was working two part-time jobs, one at a dollar store and one at EB Games, a video game store. I told you guys about this story. And I would come home and just do client work. And the problem that was happening there was I was finding that even with doing that, I couldn't make time, or I wasn't making time to draw my own stuff because it's just burnt out. Like imagine you go to your job and you come home and you have to work on a graphic novel for somebody else. That's a frig load of work. Even if it was your own thing, it's a lot of work, So what I just had to do was there's two realizations to get yourself out of that. One, either you have to go get, like if you've got real jobs, like day jobs, you have to find a better paying day job so that when you come home, you don't have to take client work on anymore. Like that money you were making in the client work, you might be able to find doing factory work. And I know that sounds like that sucks and you don't want to do that, but that means that you can come home and just do your own thing and the money's okay. You don't have to worry about getting client work anymore. Plus, you're still making comics and you're getting that. The other realization is just know that if you're working your part-time jobs anyway and you're doing client work, that you're playing the long game there, and over time, over years, you might be able to get yourself into a situation where then you can start saying no to client work because you've got an audience, and you might be able to go to, like, let's say Kickstarter or something like that, and start just doing your own thing. And that's if the primary thing you'd like to do is just your own stuff. That's probably the best way of going about it. Maybe not the best, but it is a way. It looks like there's like angelic light behind me here. So that's distracting. Let me know, guys. I can just try to take that down a bit. Okay, but I don't know if this makes sense, but do you feel like you were cheating on the client when your heart's not in on it? I feel like I'm not giving the project my all. You know what? Sorry, Inkbot. Considering the mega in the title, are you gonna stream for long tonight? Okay. Well, we've been streaming so far for how long here? It's saying 2 hours, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know if that's right. We'll say around 2 hours so far. I'm probably gonna be streaming for like another 6. I was gonna say 6 hours. I'm not 100% sure on that. But once these are done, I was intending to do other stuff like make a logo and all that. I don't think that'll be fun for you guys to watch. So we might just jump into more pages. So far, my only plan is just doing this today, I guess until my girlfriend's done working and see what the hell's going on. That's around like 6 or 7. So that's like 6 or 7 hours from now. I'm sure I'll stop at some point to eat. I haven't eaten yet today. So we'll see. But yes, the mega, I'm trying to get into the title, meaning long-ass streams. Okay, so just get back to your question. I feel like I'm not. So you're kind of like cheating on the project. Every project I've ever worked on, I've always tried to do my best. But in regards to what you're saying, yes, I've experienced that. I've felt like, okay, I just want to get through some pages so I can do my own thing. And I'm not in any place to say that's the right or wrong thing to do. You know what. If you were spending money and somebody needed you to do work, you know what you need to do. If you said yes just for the money, I think that's where a lot of these feelings come from, because you're not doing it from a place of, let's put it this way, if anybody here really wanted to do something, you would do it for free. You might argue it, but think about this for a second. If I really wanted to draw Ninja Turtle, I'll be honest with you. If they reached out to me and said, "Hey, we would love for you to draw an issue of Ninja Turtles, but it's on the house," I would do that like that. That's something to me that I would on your bucket list of life goals. That's on it for me. It's an issue of Ninja Turtles, okay? If Marvel came up to me and said, "Hey, we want you to do Spider-Man for free," I would say no. I would say no myself, because I know that month I would be so stressed out at making a cool-looking Spider-Man. I'm on the shoulders of giants that were doing amazing Spider-Man work. I'm not in it. I love the character and stuff, and if I was getting a paycheck, it'd be client work, and you do your best, you know? However, like on my own stuff like this, I feel like I'm doing two things. One, maybe it's not my best work, but I want content. So I've sacrificed a certain design style in what I do in order to be able to hit deadlines. So it's still that goal oriented, but I don't feel at all like this is a pressure or a drive, or that I need something tangible to hold on to in order to make content for this. Whereas if I was working, like when I was working on, let's say, the Standard, I still love that project and stuff, but that thing took like 3 years because I was working other jobs, and I was, like you're saying, cheating on the project. Like I was working on the Standard and I would take other client work because I needed money. And what ended up happening was I hated everything about it. The art was okay, you know, but deadlines meant you have to submit pages, you know, as best as you can. And it's a horrible way to work. And not everybody would agree with me on this one. And you just have to take it with a grain of salt. I would recommend getting a day job somewhere. If you need money, go get a day job somewhere, and when you're done doing that, then start drawing. Especially if you have no family, like you're not married or anything like that, and you don't have a very active social life. If you're an introvert like me and you're just at home drawing all the time, this works great because I can go out and get my paycheck. Sometimes it comes with benefits and crap, that stuff. So money's coming in. And then if you want, you can do your own thing. You can just focus on you, knowing that in the next 10 years or so, maybe I'll be able to do this full time because I'll build up a fan base, right? And then you can sprinkle in commissions as well. But if you have bigger arrangements, like you got a kid to take care of and stuff, I think it's a little different. You got to be a little bit more. If you have responsibility to people, and I'm talking about like a family in this case, you're sort of stuck, meaning that you have to do whatever you can do to keep food in their belly and a roof over their head, right? Like that's your responsibility. You have to do that. And if that's the case, then this whole conversation is a little different because, well, if that is the case, you're probably not doing freelance art anyway, unless you're highly successful, because you can just go get a factory job somewhere, hopefully, and make more money doing that, you know? Anyway, I hope. Just let me know. Just let me know if anything I said was any helpful to you at all. Guys, I know I'm off topic. Sorry, what's that? 2 hours thing? Yeah, that's okay. I wouldn't mind watching logo work. Okay, well maybe we'll do it. We'll see. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to go with that just yet. But a little off topic, but let's make a Jesop and Momo ship fanfic. Okay, Monochrome Moose. Hey dudes, how are you? How logos are made. Okay, maybe you guys will like it. I'm not an aficionado with logos. There's a lot of stealing, meaning like looking at other projects and then like influencing it. So maybe we'll get into it. I'm not sure. We'll see. Because there's a lot of like Photoshop and my computer runs a little slow. We're making excuses now. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hugh saying I'm super lucky because I followed a well-paying career. That means I can spend much time. Okay, please. Okay, thank you for saying that. And I'm not sure my ramble if I did say that. I just want to say the job that I do have, it's the highest paying job I've ever had, and I'm not making gangbusters here. Okay, I'm not. I'm just saying compared to what I was making, I can go and do a full-time job, which I'm very grateful for, and get a paycheck from it. A respectable paycheck, and it's enough to keep things going, and I can save a little bit of money, and that's great. I have Patreon as well, which helps. Thank you guys. Anybody that's in here that's a patron, that helps as well. From time to time, I'll take a commission, like I said. But because I have that money, that's what's really helped me just go, you know what, I can actually say no to people and just do my own thing. Like, don't get me wrong. if people wanted me to work on like another graphic novel with them and stuff, there's a lot of great things that come from that. The money usually can be good. You can kind of negotiate that stuff, right? So you have that going for you. Plus, they're going to distribute it. They're going to print it. They're going to spend all that. They're going to do the marketing and all that. Maybe, hopefully, they will, right? So you can get your name out there and do other things like that as well. Like there's a lot of benefits to working for stuff like that. But and this is me. Some people, they can do client work and it satiates them, but I never have gotten the same feeling of working on a project for anybody. And I'm proud of the work I've done, but I've never had the same feeling as just doing this stuff, like my own thing. And I know that's going to be different for a lot of people, but if you want to work on your own stuff, whether that means you want to be a freelance artist, choosing the art you want to do for people, you have the sacrifice that comes with that is you have to feed yourself, right, and clothe yourself and keep yourself warm. So how you do that? You need money. So either you're going to be working on other people's projects, or you can spend time working at some place in the real world, and just making money doing that, so that when you come home, your free time is whatever you want. It can be working on your comics, it could be playing video games, it could be hanging out with friends. I don't want to say it's a slippery slope, but it's definitely something that requires, I think, more thought than I know I put into it, and I think a lot of people maybe don't put that much thought into it. Oh, you got the Huion light pad. Awesome. Yeah, please let us all know what you think of it. I love it. I think it's great. I haven't used it in a little while. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll start something back up with that. Okay, getting off track here. All right, so we've got all the major flats done. Now we can, let me just save it. We're just going to put in the background color. I forget what blue we were using. So let's go here. So it says bottom panel. Where are we? All right, so we're just going to select those. Copy. And we're just going to go on a pasting fest here. Whoops. Okay, we'll put it all there. I'm not sure just yet what the background colors are going to be for these, so I'm just going to put something in there for now. I know this panel's got to be a little darker because we're going to have lightning and stuff going around them. And lightning, I hate saying it again, pro tip is if you want to have like a glow, like I've always found this to be the case. Like let's say you want to make like a lightsaber or something, right? If the background's like white or like a very light color, it's hard to see. So if you start darkening, I'm not saying black will always look awesome, but like don't go that dark. But then you can start seeing glows around things. It just makes it a little bit better. So like why I'm saying that is in panel 4 here, if I just go here, I'm just gonna put a little spotlight here. So if I go like this and I go that color and we start drawing up the background and all that, the lightning's not gonna look as cool as if we darken this up. And I don't know the color we're going to use just yet, so I'm just going to leave it a little empty. Whoops, I think I screwed something up here. Alright. Okay, and panel 5. Okay, so let's go back up here and put this white. try rotating this just a little bit. Alright, so we gotta do some cloud action. Did we draw clouds in this last one? No way. Okay. Panel 1. Alright, let's make some cloud. I don't want to go white with it. Ugh. There we go. Kind of getting there. Alright, we could try that. Alright, let's save this one up too. How long did that take? So it's about an hour of these pages for flats. Cool. Let's go there. And now we can start doing some coloring. Okay. Let's close that up. Nope, don't need to see that. It's page. Is it? Yeah, we're going here. Alright, so the shadow color is in one of these guys. Let's see which one it is. Oh, here's a good example. So the lightning, you can see here, like the background, it's a little darker, so you can kind of see, like I get to, basically when you're working with like a special effects or light in general, the more room you can give yourself to push and pull from light is great. Meaning, so you can see like I added like even a darker blue around the lightning here, so that what that does is it makes the light blue of the lightning pop over top of that. And it's just a great way to build it. You guys will see if we get to the lightning anyway, that last page anytime soon. If we get there, that'll be great. But you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, but we need these ones up here. It's like a reddish shadow. So let's go to normal. Oh, it's like a purple. Or actually, this might be the wrong page to this because I don't know if we change it. Let me just 1 second here. Let's go to page 12. Yeah, here we go. Just in case, I'm not sure if it's a different color. Let's see. I don't think it is. Yeah, it's not. Okay. So we can use that. Just so we have a consistent shadow going through the whole thing here. Alright, so what's first? The goblins. John, the rod the Doblin is holding, was it done in SketchUp or careful ellipses? SketchUp. The reason for that is, obviously I'm a huge SketchUp whore, but drawing things like that is not fun to me. That's not an excuse to not learn how to draw the stuff. But if I make a model or get a model like that, I can rotate it in multiple panels. I get an angle I want. It's quicker. That's the only reason. Time. That's the main reason I made the decision to go with that. Again, that doesn't make it the right decision, but that is the reason why. Okay, see you, Pillhead. Okay, see you later, Inkbot. And thanks, Lapsta. Appreciate it. Laps is saying, I drew a car for 2 hours, all realistic and shit. Hated my life. Then traced one in SketchUp in 5 minutes. Whatever shame I felt, it cannot be compared to the sweet nectar of time saving comfort. Oh, yeah. It's an interesting thing to talk about. Like, I do think everybody should be able to understand how to draw a car and maybe draw one for sure. Not just a car, but not even everything. Just understanding how you can possibly look at something and maybe not draw it well, but if you had to spend 2 hours to draw it, that at the end of it, it wouldn't look like total smut, you know? And that just comes from fundamentals. So always brushing up your fundamentals and stuff. And saying all that, I don't really care what. If you're in art, chances are, as a career, chances are it's in some sort of entertainment field. And if that's the case, usually the stuff has to be like just pumped out at like an crazy speed. Like on my job when I'm doing concept art for stuff, like I can't spend days just designing like what would be a cool car. Sometimes I'm lucky enough to get that, but usually it's not. You know, you kind of have to have something and just keep moving. So I don't know. There's like a romanticism I still think that comes with traditional drawing, and that's fine. But if you're, especially if you're doing comics too, or really again anything that's like a entertainment field, you just need to entertain people. And if people are looking at your work and going, well, that's a 3D model, that's a 3D model, and it takes them out of the entertainment part of it. And I'm talking the vast majority of people, not just like Steve and Joey that are always complaining about 3D models, but you know, if the vast majority of people that are consuming the content, if they look at it and they're just enjoyed, it doesn't really matter to them, and it speeds up the process of making content, let's do it. Cares. Cares. Because I'll tell you this right now, the last people that I would care less if a fellow artist told me that I shouldn't use a tool, like so we'll say 3D models in this case, that I shouldn't use one because real artists this or that or blah blah blah. And a lot of those people are dying off. I don't mean in reality. I just mean like they're not communicating with me anymore. But there's no way I'm going to take somebody's advice like that if the market, meaning people consuming my content, if they enjoy what I'm doing, then I'm not going to really, I don't want to say take criticism, but listen to fellow artists that are saying what I'm doing is wrong. Especially if the market's telling you otherwise, right? Like we're all just talking about making money and stuff. So if the market's telling you, keep doing what you're doing, we'll pay you for it, whatever. I was going to say the right decision is one that allows you to satisfyingly finish within the deadline. Yep. Well, it's a good indicator of what you need to work on. Whatever your first instinct is to sketch up is. That's true. Then there's a muscle worth working on. I do work on my actual card drawing skills too. Okay. I'm wondering if I just fill these dudes like that. How's that look? Yeah, that part. That, let me try that again with English. That might be alright. Then we can just cut out the light. Just let these guys pop a little bit more, I guess. Hey, Zelda. Hey, welcome back, Ben and Panda. How are you guys? How y'all doing? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, cool. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I thought I mean, it's a bad guy, right? So if you put spikes on them, most people usually connect that it's a bad guy. So it's not really the greatest reason to put spikes on a character, but I think it turned out. They're fun to draw, so that's milestone one hit. Morning, Troy. Yeah, Troy and I are living on EST. Good morning. Wait, what the hell? So you just woke up at 1 o'clock? God damn. mean, thanks, Gil. Ben, is there anything beneficial about printing off a page designed for web? Maybe something I wouldn't see otherwise? I'd probably say no. Your best bet's probably just to try to. What I did with Jesop anyway is I don't even know if you guys remember. I posted a picture a while ago, just saying like it had like different font sizes, different brushes that I was using, and I asked people what they thought of it. But what I did is I also uploaded it to like Google Drive, and I used my phone, my computer, my tablet, my girlfriend's phone, friend from work's phone, and I was just at different monitors, and I was looking at all of them based on that one image, and then I made a decision overall what I felt would be the best for all of them. That's what I ended up doing with that. You might want to try that. The only time for print that I would really worry about is if you think that you will one day print it. I mean, if it's made for web, it's probably at such a high resolution anyway that it should be fine for print no matter what. I could be totally wrong on that, but I'm like my sleep-in time before I go 3 rounds of Ackling back. Hey David, how's it going, man? Do you prefer Manga over Photoshop for coloring and drawing your comics? Yeah, yes. There was a little while there when I was first learning the software that I would still go to Photoshop for some things. I do still go back to Photoshop for like blending modes or like layer effects that Manga Studio just doesn't have currently. But lately, like especially for this project, I'd say 98% of the time, I'm just here in Manga Studio. Coloring, once you start getting used to it, I think it's far superior than in Photoshop. That's my opinion. Plus, it's cheaper software too, if anybody's looking to get into it. I mean, it's designed intentionally for comic books, right? So doesn't mean it gets everything right, but it gets a lot right. I do know some people that use digital painting and stuff like that. I don't do that, but I've seen it done in here as well. Sean's just chimed in there. I think if you're printing a web comic, you may have to make sure you choose a book size comparable to the size of your web comic. That's true. And most importantly, make sure the color scheme is set to CMYK. Yeah, if you're trying to print from RGB, which looks awesome, usually looks a lot, well, yeah, it looks better than CMYK. Like for me, everything I'm doing is RGB, so if someday maybe down the road it goes to CMYK, I'm sure I'm screwed for the whole thing. But I've always said that's not the intent. If it is, the only way that I would make that switch is if there looks like the time that I'm going to put into it is whatever. And the only reason is like CMYK is limiting with the color. You just have to use it differently. And I know, for me anyway, the intent is for web. So if it's to look the best, I'm using it for like formatting it for the web. Even though the reading experience is like a page a day kind of thing, is really just geared towards like paper, which is kind of, I don't know, kind of counterintuitive to what the hell I just said. But yeah, Sean's right. Gil's saying she, I believe it's a she, still uses Photoshop for calm background brushes and lettering. Okay. Way cheaper. Just sucks on Clip Studio. You can't edit your mask after creating it, so I have to go into Photoshop for that. Oh, you can't? Really? I thought you could. At what point when drawing an object do you feel you should make it in SketchUp? I have some weapons that are kind of complex that I'm not sure if I want to freehand them anymore. That right there, Ben, is when you do it. So an example, Ninja Turtle stuff, swords, like Leonardo's swords. I don't want to draw a sword over and over again. If I can find a sword that's online that's a katana that looks good enough, just use that. These dudes' little weapons here, like here, let me show you guys their little character sheet here. So this guy right here, the Doblins here, right? Let me just, when I turn this off, check this out. When I initially had them, they had smaller heads, and they felt a little bit more like, okay, these are cool, but like when I gave it the bigger head, I'm like, that feels a lot better. This just feels like a person in like a costume or something. But if we turn off, what is it? Oh, this crap. So their little gun here, this is a 3D model I found in Google SketchUp. But when I export it, I add a little bit of extra lines to it. Just a little bit, just to make it feel like this doesn't even look like a gun. It looks like a piece of rock or a toy or something, right? But that's an example for that, because I don't want it to redraw all like this stuff all the time. And if you want it to still look good, just make it a 3D model. You know what I mean? Know what I mean? Thank you, bro. No problem, David. What time is it? So I want to get into the habit. Here we go. So this is my like departure speech here, okay? I'm going to stream when I get back for sure. Okay? Just hear me out, guys. So I'm trying to give as much importance to health, hear me out, as I possibly can. And that means going, for me anyway, going to a gym. And have you guys ever heard, I started DDP yoga. I've talked about that before. It's awesome. It's good stuff, man. And I mean, it's yoga, so it always is like, nah, whatever, yoga. But like, stretching feels good. And the main reason I got into that was, like, I sit all day at work. That S probably just pierced your ears there. Sorry about that. But I sit all the time at work. And when I come home, you guys know, if I'm drawing, I'm stationary all the time. So there's lots of bones and muscles in my body that don't even need to be used, because I just don't use them, right? But you still got to maintain it, or else your body just starts falling apart. Anyway, so because I sit all the time at work, I would go for like a walk, let's say, like a 10-minute walk, and my lower back's on fire. Just things like warning signs your body's telling you that you need to, at least in my case, everybody obviously, but you know, everybody's gonna do exercise different. That I have to start making a little bit more of a proactive, or actually just be proactive, because I haven't been proactive in addressing it. So what I'm going to start doing is just going to the gym, plus the workout stuff. Not that you guys care. I'm not trying to tell you guys that to make you feel sympathy or anything like that. Just letting you know that what I'm going to do is we're going to say goodbye right now. I'm going to go to the gym to go run around on a treadmill like an idiot. and then I'm going to come back and eat, and then I'm going to go back into streaming. So I would assume probably, let's say, to be safe, 2 hours from now. I just want to make sure that there's enough, going on. So just whatever your clock looks like, just add 2 hours. I'll stop the stream and then I'll restart a new one. That way it's not just sitting here. That way, if you guys are subscribed, feel free to subscribe. You get a notification when I come back and we start this party up again. I just know what's going to happen if I don't do this. The day is going to keep going, and I'm going to knock out some awesome artwork. I'm going to have some fun, and then the day is going to start slowing down, and I'm not going to want to go. So one thing I've been trying to improve on, you guys can try this too. This I've noticed is that moment when you feel like you need to do something or you want to do something, and then not doubt, but like your brain switches and quickly goes, "Whoa, are you sure you want to do that?" And then it like you get hesitation, and then it can anyway. For me, it does. It leads to like, you probably don't need to do it then, right? So I know if I don't go right now, my brain's gonna start going like, "Wait, we're gonna go do what?" No, I'm not on board for that, and it's not gonna work, right? So anyway, just let me answer your questions real quick before I go. Okay, so Gil's saying she might use models for motherships. That would be a great example of a great time. I mean, if you use 3D models to draw cars, you may as well do it for like pretty much every vehicle if you can, right? Which version of Manga Studio would you recommend for someone who is new to Manga? Okay, I just want to say this right now. Manga, it's called Clip Studio Paint now. It's the worst name ever, but if you're new to drawing manga, you don't have to get this software. If you draw American style comics, it doesn't matter. It's got tools in it that are great for comics, period, but you could use it just as you use Photoshop, okay? So it's a piece of drawing software, and that's it. But it has some tools in there that are kind of cool for comic artists and stuff, okay? As for the version, the generic version's fine. Whenever it goes on sale all the time. So I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but you could buy the debut version right now if you wanted to. And then once the sales go back on, you can get like the upgrade to like the big version for the same sale price. I believe it could be wrong. Also, I don't really go on their site, check out what you're getting from both sides. I don't think it's a mandatory thing to get the big version. I don't even think maybe I do use some of the features of that one, but I'm not too sure. Oh yeah, definitely get Manga Studio 5. 4 is great. 4 is amazing, but if you want to use what I'm using, if you want something that's kind of like Photoshop, get 5. 4 is it's a great piece of software, but it's really good for just like black and white inked line work. Yeah, I keep calling it Manga Studio 2. Hell, like even in the description, then we got, yeah, look, I put a slash. Okay, I guess I was done with the questions. Okay, anyway, thanks guys. I hope you guys, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Anyway, I won't be gone too long. We're gonna go try to get fit. We're gonna go lift some heavy things and put some heavy things down. Ridiculous. Anyway, thanks guys for popping in. Appreciate it. And if I see you in a couple hours, that's even better. If not, enjoy your weekend. And I'll probably see you guys during the weekend when we do some streaming as well. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Keep reading comics, keep making comics, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.